Are you not going to read the end of the book?
No, I thought you were doing the What's Up Internet.
I thought you were going to read the end of the book.
Well, I can find that.
Did we not do the end of the book last week?
No, we did.
I'm just sitting here wondering what you're doing, babe.
That is the beginning of the
We've been doing this
next
show for over 2
book.
years. No, not quite 2 years yet.
Almost 2 years. We're really, really good at this. Is this actually? No, this is a history.
Murtag is evil now. Thorn's back. It's the Nerdy Wordy Book Club.
And then together you and I shall kill the Razak and avenge our father.
What's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy.
And I'm Clarus.
And this is a mess.
Yeah, that's why the people love it, right? People, humans, hello.
How y'all doing, chat? How is everybody feeling today?
Happy
it is
Halloween.
Halloween. I was gonna do a whole I'm Hopper.
Oh, and I'm Scooby-Doo.
Well, you didn't even try the voice. Come on, give me a little Scooby.
I literally don't possess
Clarus,
the vocal cords.
Go full Scooby.
Like that's
perfection.
Like my voice doesn't go that low.
Good morning to everyone in chat. Thank you for being here for this mess.
Hello.
Bilge Monkey says the most professional book club.
Yeah. That's how we market ourselves actually. Whenever we, reach out for sponsorships or whatever, we call it the most professional book club.
It's honestly hard to promote the show. It's hard to talk about the show because we will say like, yeah, we have a book club, or we have our book club tomorrow, and people are like, oh, cool, you like are in a book club, and we're like, no, it's not. It's not like a book club where we sit around with people.
Like it is that, but it's not that. It's very difficult to explain. Good morning, hello everyone in chat. How we doing? All right.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Should we do the same poll that we did last week as to like who has read this book and who has not read this book?
Yeah, if you want to type that out.
Sure, why not? Did you read?
Die you ride.
No. There we go. Did you read? Yes, no, never.
There we go. There is a poll in chat for the people who are here.
Hello.
Clarus, is there any housekeeping we need to do?
No housekeeping we need to do. Obviously, Roleplay Relay 2 is coming up. We're very excited about that. At the end of the month, we're going to raise some money for charity. Well, it is the end of October. It's the end of next month. November 25th.
Yeah,
coming
26 days from now, we're doing Roleplay Relay 2, a charitable D&D stream benefiting Cap for Kids, a cancer charity that helps the families of children who have cancer deal with the financial struggles of their children being in the position that they're in. Yeah. It is a wonderful charity run by some friends of ours who are absolutely incredible cosplayers who not only financially benefit those families, but also go to children's hospitals in their cosplays and cheer up the kids dressed as their favorite characters.
Yeah.
It is an incredible charity. And we're really excited. The stream is going to be sponsored by a couple of people. There's going to be giveaways galore, raffles that you can enter by donating to the charity.
Yep.
Those are going to be from our sponsors. Eldritch Foundry, the mini-making website, is going to be one of those sponsors, as well as our show sponsor today. The sponsors of this production, Misty Mountain Gaming.
What?
Yeah, Misty Mountain Gaming is our full-time sponsor right now. They are the best TTRPG accoutrement company on the internet, which means they make dice.
You want math rocks?
Yeah.
Misty Mountain Gaming.
I was rolling some sterling silver math rocks last night.
Oh, you fancy.
I know, I am fancy thanks to MistyMountainGaming.com. Use code nerdynightly15 for 15% off your order. Nerdynightly15, that's my name, plus 15.
Correct.
It's a code for 15% off.
That's, how that works.
And if you do that, you'll be able to do math with rocks.
We like math? No, we don't like math. But
I don't dislike math.
I dislike math.
Yeah, but math is also the reason why we have the internet, so.
Sure, and I am grateful for that. Well,
those ones and zeros.
Yeah, sure. That's
Would you rather be a farmer?
No.
So then, like, you're an internet personality. Enjoy the internet. It's your job.
Fair. Reminder, Murtag is coming out next week.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, housekeeping, get that book so that we can talk about it.
Get that book.
Hey,
chat.
Get that book.
Comes out on Tuesday.
Next week we are talking about Brissinger, and then the following week we're talking about Inheritance, and then we are splitting up Murtag into 2 parts. So I feel like people are gonna mostly have their reading done by then, but get it the day it comes out.
Yes.
Blow it up. Have fun.
Yeah, and if you're not subscribed to this channel, subscribe, because there might be bonus videos related to things like that in the near future.
Yes.
No comment. I think that's everything we need to housekeep. Clarus, you have not read Eldest in a few years.
Yep.
I haven't read it in over a decade. Yes. How are you feeling about the second book in the Inheritance sequel? The sequel. Yeah.
My favorite of the... I don't even know what that would be classified as. It's great. I love it. This was always my favorite book. And I will wait and read the other 2 after this to, make sure that is still the case. But, yeah, I love this book so much. I really love the structure of it. This is limited edition. I did not know that.
That one is mine.
This one?
Yeah, I think that was the one I brought. I think you had a normal one, and I had a limited edition, so we donated your normal one.
I don't think we got rid of any of the Eragon books.
Yeah, because we had 2 of each one, and now we only have 1 of each one. We said we didn't need to have as many Eragon books as we did.
Oh, I thought we did that with Harry Potter. Anyways, this is the limited edition one. And
we have the collector's edition of Eragon.
Yes. We've got all the fancy stuff. I love this book. Mm-hmm. You can really see, a lot of growth from the author from book 1 to book 2. Mm-hmm. There's a lot that happens. And some spicy reveals.
Yeah. It's funny. I remember this book as being the one where Eragon sits in a meadow for a long time.
Oh.
And he does do that.
Kind of.
But I think that what I was really struck by rereading it now is that I think that a lot of that time in the Duel de Varden is really important to the narrative of the book.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you would make it more interesting. There's one element of it that we will talk about later that that I think could be stronger.
Okay.
But I really appreciated using Roran's narrative to cut up the sort of narrative-less section that is Eragon's training.
And also in Roran's part, getting that, broken up as well. Because there's a lot of, and it was weeks later, they arrived at the place.
And so, you kind of get, the plot from Roran, and you get the world building from Eragon.
Yeah.
I think that there could have been a little bit more plot in Eragon's chapters. There are some stretches there where it's and then we painted, and then we flew, and then Saphira was a horny little dragon, and then Eragon was a horny little boy.
Yeah.
And so, that could have been... That could have been tightened up, particularly going into his healing, and I will get to it when we get to it.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think that when I was younger, I did not enjoy this book as much because I felt like the sitting in the garden stuff really tanked it.
Okay,
but reading it as an older person who is maybe paying a little bit more attention to what's being said and the thematic importance of it, I appreciated this book more now.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's fair. I when I was younger, definitely thought that Roran took up more of this book than he actually does. Mm-hmm. I don't know why, but I was kind of organizing for today's book club. We're gonna talk about each kind of storyline, and Eragon has far more than Roran. But I remember for some reason when I was younger, I thought it was almost an equal split, and it is very much not that. Mm-hmm. So it is interesting how my perception of that, because I didn't always love the Roran stuff when I was younger. There was a few times where I read the book. And I actually skipped or skimmed through Roran's stuff.
Which I'm surprised by because I that's where shit's happening for especially in the first half of this book. Once Eragon, once Murtagh and the twins are killed, there's no tension really in Eragon's plotline. Like it's really interesting. Eragon's trip north to Dueldenvarden is so conflictless after they leave the dwarves, but even the that conflict is so random, and it's like from characters that we don't really know who admittedly aren't going to do anything. And so it's sort of a weird that Eragon's plotline is just sort of learning.
Yeah.
That's
exactly what it is.
Which is necessary, and I get why it's in the books.
Yeah.
But I think it is fun because of how it's broken up with Roran's action. And if I were to skip over the stuff that breaks it up, I would just be like, oh, we're still here with Oramus. It's been like 300 pages, and we are here with Oramus.
Yeah, I do think that Paolini finds a way to make it interesting, right? Because you're like, oh, I have to read about some guy like learning shit for like half of this monstrosity. Yeah. I think it had the potential to be incredibly boring, and it was not. So props to Paolini for making that work. That's tough.
I will say I related more with Eragon on his issues with Saphira when I was 15.
Sure.
And now that I'm 31, I'm like, dude, grow the fuck up.
Well, yeah, because he is 16.
No, I totally get that. This is not a commentary on the writing.
Yeah.
It is a commentary on the fact that I've aged, where I'm looking at him being like, you know what, man? Like, I get it. She's so hot.
Yeah.
Move on. Just you can date so many other people in this world. Mm-hmm. You really don't have to just like ruin your friendship with this woman because you fucking don't know how to be a human to her.
Yeah, it's like the first time that he's ever felt like romantic attraction or like love towards somebody, and he's like, I don't know how to deal with this.
Yeah.
Which I get. I mean, we've all been there. Chris Sleeping says, parent storyline in Shadow Rising or Roran storyline in Eldest, they're the same picture.
They are.
They're very,
but
very
they're also not, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I think that like to boil parents like homecoming storyline with to put any I'm gonna protect my town against the larger threat. I think you get into kind of a weird that's just a thing in all, not even just fantasy, right? That's just all fiction. And so yeah, Perrin's protection of his hometown is the same as, Seven Samurai is the same as that is just a narrative that we like as humans. The underdog town against the large invading force is just, Star Wars does it like 9 times in the Clone Wars. Like literally.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that the comparison is there because they both wield hammers.
And they both like get their like the love of their life kidnapped or whatever and have to go.
That doesn't happen in Shadow Rising.
No.
No, Fael rides in as Fael comes back into that fight having brought in the
I just mean
their
characters. Like, there are a lot of parallels in their storyline. Arazu, thank you for that super chat. I actually wondered to myself why I'm not more bored considering there's no plot conflict for Eragon through so much of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
the plot conflict is, can I pay enough attention to my studies? But Arya's here.
Yeah, like there's a...
And also, I have a wound. And we'll get to the wound later.
And watching his deterioration is like heartbreaking, right? You're like, this is the guy who's got to do the thing, and he can't do the thing.
Yeah.
And I always like my favorite part has always been the Agadi Bloodrun, and so I get fucking get like vamped up whenever I read it. I'm like,
vamped up?
I'm like, yeah, you got this. Like I get like emotional.
You call getting emotional getting vamped up?
Yeah, what's wrong with that? That makes sense.
You become a vampire?
No.
What is vamped?
You know how like music vamps? It like swells. What?
That's not what a vamp is.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't. A vamp is when you have...
What?
A vamp is when you repeat the same bars to hold for text or dialogue. It's when you build it.
That's also a vamp, yeah.
It's
I'm talking
amped
about
up.
like.
No one says vamped up.
What do you mean? Yes, they do.
No, it's we get amped up, or we get it where we're in a vamp.
No.
But you don't get vamped up.
Yes, you do.
No.
Yes, you do. People say that.
Nobody says that.
I think
The only place you can get vamped up in is like True Blood.
Well, or like Twilight, but we're not.
No, because they don't get excited about anything in Twilight. They're so like, Bella, I watched you sleep last night, 16-year-old girl.
I mean, they get excited.
I've been alive since 1896, and I crept in your bedroom last night, and I watched you sleep, little girl.
Should we do Twilight for next book club?
No, I would love it, but
thank you, Garlic. Garlic is on my side. I appreciate it. I freaking love that part of the book, but like Arzu makes a good point that
we're
there's
gonna
not.
fight when we get there.
We're gonna fight.
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay.
I like that scene a lot, but we're gonna talk about narratively how I think it doesn't really work.
Really? Wow! It is my favorite part of this whole series.
And I think the scene is amazing.
Uh-huh.
I just think it is very unearned, and so we'll get into it when we get there. Should we start at the top of the book?
Yeah, sure. Unless you have anything else to touch on Arzu's super chat.
I agree with Arzu. There's very little going on in this book.
Yeah.
In a very strange way.
Which is like,
but it works.
I'm like, why is it so successful? And I think it's just because like we're learning so much about like the elves. Like there's such a shift in like who Eragon is as a character, even though there are not like things happening. That I think that keeps the momentum up. Yeah,
and I think the world building is fun. And like, look, you can say like, I know that people call Paolini a plagiarist. I don't really think it's plagiarism, right? I think that he is definitely playing in the world of fantasy tropes in a way that, you know, if you've read fantasy, like, oh my God, this is like Perrin, this is like this is like this.
Yeah.
But I think that he roots it all in some really emotional storytelling that allows the characters to feel relatable. Mm-hmm. I think that, like, Oramis, despite being this ancient elf, is a very relatable person who, you know, is sort of... We've all seen... Even if you're young, you've seen your grandparents not be the people they used to be, right?
Right.
Like, there's a real human side of everybody in this. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's the strength of how he world builds. It's really about, like... What is the human connection between people? Yeah. And I also think that there's things like there's some really smart choices that are made. Let's get into it, because I want to talk about the smart choices as we go through them. I don't want to just talk about them all now.
Do we want which storyline do we want to talk about first?
Let's work smallest to biggest.
Okay. So we're going to talk about
because Nasuada comes in at chapter 35. Let's talk about somebody else.
Very easy to talk about.
Yeah, so Nasuada is in Serda.
Yep. They've moved all of the Varden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the king won't give them more money. So she's like, all right, well, my magic users are going to make lace. Yeah. And we're going to sell lace.
She gets inspired because Orin is like this, like, tinker, experimenter, like, science-minded person who's like, I discovered a vacuum. And I was like... He's like, there's nothing in this tube. And they're like, sure, why does that fucking matter right now? We're in a war.
It's also interesting, though, because they're like, well, no, there's air in the tube. Which is interesting because for a lot of human history, we thought that air was nothing. So we didn't even know what that was.
He's already one step ahead of where we were.
Also, this book does that a couple of times where, like, Eragon uses magic to discover... microbiology.
Yeah. He's like, oh, maggots like hatch, they don't like grow, like and shit like that. And you're like watching him learn things through a different way than obviously we have discovered it as humans, but like still learning those things. I find very funny every time.
I always love when fantasy authors try to add like modern science into fantasy. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I find it like goofy. But I think that because it's literal magic, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I could see how you could just microbiology is life. Like, I could see how this would work.
Yeah. But yeah, they're like in Oren's laboratory, and she spills some stuff, and it like burns away her lace, and she's like, "Oh darn, this lace is very expensive." Wait a second. She calls in Triana, who is like now leading Duvran Gargada, and is like, "I need you to make lace," and she's like, "Absolutely, why the fuck would we do that?" And she's like, "Because we need money to pay for things." And Triana's like, "Oh, that's actually, like, not a bad idea."
I'm not gonna lie. It feels like this is the first time in Allegasia that a magic user has thought about, or has been prompted to make money with magic.
Yeah.
Which feels very funny to me. Like, she's like, no, we do magic for free. Why would we
Because at the time of the Riders, nobody really, like... It's thought of as almost being like paradise. Like, everyone was like taken care of well enough. Like,
that was 100 years ago.
Yes.
I'm like,
yes.
Ajahad, why weren't you making money?
Galbatorix like wiped out so many of the people who know how to use magic. And so there would only be a limited number of people in that 100 years who could use magic and maybe didn't want to draw attention to themselves. And so, I don't know if anyone ever was like, I'm going to become a fucking millionaire
that's interesting. Yeah,
with magic.
I didn't think about, like, the hiding aspect of it.
Yeah, you don't want to draw attention to yourself when, like, the king is, like, a spellcaster and, like, magic's not, like, forbidden by any means, but I don't know. I wouldn't...
Blige Monkey says they should have been selling Quendalar.
Yeah.
Which, look, I get that you could draw parallels between those two stories. Mm-hmm. I will say, at the very least, the lace comes back in this book.
True.
Because the Quendalar
does not.
Never did. They spend so much fucking time in the Wheel of Time being like, she figured it out. We're going to do it to do... And then it
does one thing and Egwene
never
is
important
captured.
again. It is never brought up. Like, Quendalar, I don't think the word is mentioned in the last 3 books.
Unless it's in regards to the seals.
I don't even know if they're called Quendalar after that point.
Which is interesting because, like, I guess, like, Egwene could have just tried to mend the seals if she knows how to make Quendiar, but, I don't know.
It never comes up again.
At
least the lace comes back in a very cool scene that we're going to talk about pretty quick here. Later on,
she goes to visit Elva.
Yeah.
And Elva is the child that Eragon blessed, and
because
ruined
he
her
didn't
life.
Understand.
Yeah, didn't understand grammar. He was not trained in grammar. Brahm just had him memorize a bunch of shit, and turns out that Elva has been turned into a shield for other people's hurts and misfortunes.
Which is... Yeah, there's a lot in this book
which is horrifying.
That is like Eragon being like, well, if Brahm had fucking taught me anything properly,
I know.
Like they spent weeks on the road, and there's so many things that Brahm just like didn't explain.
Yeah, 1,000%.
And you're like,
we talked about this last week.
Terrible at this.
Yeah, Brahm was not a great teacher.
Yeah.
Do we love him? Yes, we do. But like he's. I mean, I love him. I think his character is more interesting because of the flaws. But yeah, he fucked up, and Elva is a consequence partially of that. Mm-hmm. And she like Nasuada like walks in the room, and there's like a girl who looks like she's like 3 or 4, and she's like, where is the baby? And she's not a baby. She grew up because she was like, it hurt too much, and then I learned to talk last week, and I've been waiting for you.
Yeah, Elva being like, use me as a weapon. Let me kill the men's and the soldiers of Galbatorix. Gets so into such a weird. Rereading this, it's such an interesting like concept that gets into how do you. I can see how she can be used in self-defense. I don't actually understand how you could use her as an assassin because the person in danger in that situation is not the person sending her to assassinate. It is the person she's assassinating.
Yeah, but
so by asking her to assassinate somebody, you are actually becoming the threat in the situation, not the other way around.
Yeah, which she can resist, but it hurts her, right? Because Elva's strength is that she can sense all the people around her. Like, and so...
Yeah, but it's not... but
you can be very
her power
sneaky.
doesn't discriminate between the other side of the field and her side of the field.
Yes, and so it would be, like, incredibly painful for her to carry out an assassination.
It seems like assassin isn't a good role for her.
And it's more, I think it's less assassin in, like, killing somebody, but in, like, more manipulation, right? Because when she saves Nasuada in, like, the next little bit that we're going to talk about, Nasuada's like, how did you get away from your caretaker? She's like, I told her what I wanted her to hear.
What
and
she wanted to hear. Yeah, that's a very important distinction.
Sorry, yeah, what she wanted to hear, and I was able to do whatever the fuck I want. She's able to manipulate people, and so, you know, maybe assassin.
But that isn't causing harm, right? It's very specifically, she does not cause harm to her caretaker in doing so.
No, but she does know how to harm people even without physically harming them.
Yes, but in the moment where so Nasuada is nearly killed a couple chapters later, and Elva breaks into the room and saves Nasuada. Elva reveals to Nasuada where the person who did it is, because she has some, like, limited form of precognition. And she says, go get him before I try and stop you.
Yeah.
Because I can't control it.
Yeah.
And so I
mean, she is controlling it.
Not really, though. Like, even she's like, go now so that I can't get involved. Because I will be forced to. And so I think that, like, court, defender, bodyguard, those are better roles for her than, like, assassin.
For sure.
Where, like, if you send her out on her own, she might get to the Empire, realize that she's the danger, and then have to turn around and go back to Serta. And she'll just get caught in between the Empire and Serta going, these people want me to kill these people, so I'm gonna go, oh wait, no, they're in danger now, so I'm gonna go kill these, oh fuck, no, they're in danger now.
And that's why she's like, literally, give me anything to make this war end.
Oh, yeah,
she's like, whatever we have to do, it needs to end immediately, or I'm gonna go mad.
Spoilers. That's a joke. I have no idea what happens to Elva.
Really?
I don't remember her.
Fun.
At all. I
love that.
I remember this reveal.
Yeah.
I remember the reveal that she's cursed from reading it. I don't actually remember anything she does after this point.
Okay.
Like, at all.
She...
I don't want to know.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying...
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I'm not mad that I have forgotten the book, right? Like, I'm enjoying that, for me, this book is a... it's almost like reading it for the first time. There's a couple of reveals, I know. It's like reading it for the first time, but a friend has, like, told me a couple things about it.
Yeah.
And I'm really liking that.
Ryan, thank you so much for that super duper chat. All hail my boy Roran Stronghammer. Also just wanted to say Eragon the movie is not that bad. And I think it's a better adaptation than the Wheel of Time show. That's
fair.
That is a hot take.
You may now balefire and dragonfire me to death. I understand my fate in saying this. I think that it depends on what you mean by adaptation.
Yeah.
I would argue the events of the Eragon movie are closer to the events of the book than the Wheel of Time show is.
Yeah, I guess.
I would argue that thematically...
Because how much could they change in, like, 90 minutes? You can change a lot over 16
Eragon,
hours.
Like, the plot of Eragon is boy finds dragon egg, dragon grows up, they flee hometown, they travel, Braum gets killed, and then they fight Durza under the mountain. Like, the actual plot of the book and the plot of the movie are very similar. Now, a lot of the little things are changed, right? And I agree with that.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily think the quality of the movie is very good. But when it comes to the Wheel of Time show,
honestly, Wheel of Time looks better.
The plot is functionally very different.
Yeah,
right? It depends on what you mean by adaptation. If you're talking about adapting the themes, well, I would actually probably still give that to Eragon, but because the Wheel of Time show is about a different thing.
Yeah.
It
is its own thing. It cannot be the books because of just the vastness of the books.
I would say the quality of acting, other than Jeremy Irons, is better in Wheel of Time.
Yes, absolutely. Here's the thing: the Wheel of Time show never made me cry because I was so upset and it ruined my birthday. So I have like a vehement hate for the Eragon movie for ruining my birthday. But you're allowed to.
You need to say that to Kiss Our Lady at some point. Be like,
yeah.
Sir, you ruined my birthday.
Well, no, Paolini just signed away the. He was like, yeah, do whatever you want, and then was like, I have regrets.
I just made the joke because I have no idea who directed the movie.
He never directed ever again. So.
Wait, really?
Yes, really.
Oh my god,
I looked it up. Yeah, go for it. Go look it up. But Brian, thank you for that super duper chat to match this super duper book. We like color matching. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's an incredible super chat.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily disagree with you.
Yeah. Like it is a hot take, but I think it's completely defensible. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what, Bilge Monk? It's because no one else in that movie was memorable except for Rumpelstiltskin. As Durza, he was decent. But yeah.
Oh no, he's a great actor. Yeah, no, he's awesome.
Durza, yeah. But he's not memorable in that movie because Durza's kind of a nothing, whatever.
This is gonna kill you.
What?
Oh wait, no, he didn't direct again. He works.
Does he work?
Oh, yeah. He directed Eragon.
And that's the only thing he directed.
Yes.
Yeah.
But this is going to kill you. He was very involved in Game of Thrones. In 21 episodes.
As a visual effects supervisor.
That's a very important job.
Yeah, but he didn't have to, make creative decisions in terms of plot and character.
He's a prolific visual effects person.
Great.
And I think that's why he was given Eragon. They're like, you're going to make this dragon work. I think that's what it was.
Even though Saphira looks like shit in that movie, I'm not gonna lie. She does not glitter.
Look. Is Eragon a good movie? No.
No.
Did this man work on the original Jurassic Park?
I guess so.
Was he the lead computer graphics supervisor?
So, yeah, he's good at the
This is what I'm saying. But the dragon, the dinosaurs.
Uh-huh.
If you're doing the dragon movie, you hire the guy that did the dinosaurs for fucking Jurassic Park. You know what I mean?
Sure.
He also did Small Soldiers.
Whatever.
Galaxy Quest? Dude, never mind. I'm Stephen Fangmeyer, I've turned around on you. Thank you so much of my childhood, my friend.
Yeah, but he doesn't... Okay, it's fine. Arzu, thank you so much for that super chat. I appreciate the hugs. I cried when I was 13, whenever the movie came out. I'm pretty sure I was 13. It's fine. I'm over it now. But movie is... Here's the thing. Don't watch the movie until we react to it.
Yeah. Arzu, thank you so much for that super chat. Here's what I will say. He did the dragon for Eragon.
And she doesn't look like sapphires.
And then he did the fucking dragons for Game of Thrones. And I think that if anyone deserves a comeback story, it is this man. He turned it around. You know what I mean?
All right.
He made some of the most famous dragons in the world.
All right.
All right. We need to move on from that. What were we talking about? Elva.
We're talking about Elva. Yeah. So they figure out what the fuck is up with Elva, and then things happen, time passes, and Nasuada is almost assassinated, but Elva fucking, cuts the shins of her guards and fights her way. She's noticed numerous small cuts at the, bottom of their legs, and I was like, oh, did she just go, full, just knife their calves?
Well, she's the size of a 4-year-old.
Yes.
So she's
this
she
big.
can't reach above their knee. So this is where we discover that the Triana goes to the place that Elva sends them, and they find a magic user who has been compelled into the service of Galbatorix, who is a member of the Black Hand.
Yeah.
A group of
sick band name.
Yeah. A group of sorcerers and others working within Serta to destabilize the Varden. They don't really come back in this book after. I thought the Black Hand was going to factor into the final fight somehow. They don't.
No,
They will come up in later books maybe, but they're never really mentioned again. And that's kind of Nasuada's story. She's just kind of in fucking Serta, dealing with Oren's weird science shit and being assassinated and waiting for something to happen.
Well, their reports say that Galbatorix's army is still in the barracks, and it turns out that is not the case. Oren gets a report that Galbatorix's army is on their way, 100,000 strong, because conscription. And they're like, wow, what? How were we deceived? And they realize that the only person who would be strong enough to like make a mirage, like deception of that scale would be Galbatorix. And so they believe that Galbatorix himself may be on his way to wipe out the Varden.
Daddy's home.
And so they
or actually, in this case, Daddy is in fact not home.
He's not. He left home. And so they send for the dwarves. They send for the elves.
They send for Eragon.
It might be too late, but yeah, that is Nasuada's storyline in this book.
How do you feel about Nasuada? Now that we got through her whole story.
I mean, in this book, like, I don't think she's. I like that we see her creativity and her, like, stubbornness. People are like, you can't pay for a war with Lace. And she's like, why the fuck not? Or it's like, because they won't write songs about you. And she's like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
like,
they will.
Yeah.
Lace rhymes with so many things. Are you kidding me? Bards are, like, itching to write about something new.
True. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
No one's ever paid for a war with Lace.
You know who went into war with Lace? He went into the last fucking battle with Lace. Matt Cawthon.
Yeah, so, got very accustomed to
and there are songs
Lace.
written about him, so
watch
Wat Idol on the Dusty Wheel.
Yeah.
I mostly like Nasuada.
Yeah, she's not giving
I would
much
really
in this.
like for her to, like, talk about Elva differently.
What do you mean?
Like, be a fucking adult.
Nasuada's 17.
She's 17?
Pretty sure, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought she was older.
I think yeah.
The way that, like...
I think she might be a few years older than Eragon, but, like, maybe 20.
Interesting. I thought she was old. I thought she was, like, 23 or 24. I find her to be a little bit unlikable sometimes because of the way Paolini writes her inner monologue about other people.
Fair.
And I wish that she was just a little bit more gracious, particularly towards Elva. Like, it kind of reminds me of some of the Wheel of Time-isms, where I would be like, you don't have, like, your characters don't have to internally comment on people's physical appearance every time they see them. You can kind of have that once, and then, like, we know how that character feels about that person. You don't have to repeat it. And it's kind of the repetition of, like, Elva walked into the room and Nasuada grimaced at her horrific visage. And you're like, every time, you don't have to do that every time, because it makes, what it does to me as a reader is it makes me go, oh, this character's kind of an asshole. Whereas if you comment on it once, it's like, oh, this character, it notices something.
Yeah.
But every time Elva speaks, and this is how Nasuada feels about it.
Yeah.
It kind of makes her feel pettier than I think she actually is, right? I don't think the intention is there, but it is the repetition that, like, enforces an idea about a character.
Well, and Nasuada, the way that she thinks about magic users is, like, potentially problematic, right? She's like, well, they can't just... Like, she's, like, using them, but she doesn't trust any of them. Which, like, fair. I wouldn't trust Triana either, and Angela's a little sus. But,
she's the same age as Murtagh, Arzu says.
So she would be, 17.
Yeah.
Yeah. 17, 18. Because Eragon turns 16 in Eragon. So, yeah, we'll say she's 18. We'll say she's 18. But, yeah, she's not, she's definitely not, like, 25. But yeah, she's one of those people that's like, ooh, like, it's like Avengers Civil War. Like, the magic users need to be governed, and we need to have them laws and registration and all that stuff.
Which I agree with. The magic in this world is so horrifying. Mm-hmm. Like, as a magic system, the invasion of privacy element of Eragon's magic system makes it inherently immoral to exist. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, there is no version of what Eragon does that is, like, totally above board. He literally has to be a constant invasion of people's privacy in order to survive, which is so, like, necessary. And I'm not saying that I think that he shouldn't do that. I understand why he has to.
Yeah.
It is a very bleak world where, of course, Galbatorix became a evil fascist. He feels like it is necessary to examine the internal private thoughts of every single person around him at all times, and can compel people to tell him their deepest, darkest secrets because he has magic. Like, it is such a, like, deep, statey kind of fantasy world that this is set in such an interesting way, especially considering that this book is written by a guy who was, like, he's a couple years older than me, so he was probably like 12 or 13 when 9/11 happened. And so it is very fascinating to me to read a fantasy book that, because so much of the fantasy we read is from like post-World War II, right? Where it's like reacting to World War II and we're reacting to World War I, right? With Lord of the Rings. Or in Robert Jordan's case, like there's such a deep connection to Vietnam in The Wheel of Time. Yeah. We're seeing the Patriot Act written from a person who was a child when the Patriot Act became such a prevalent part of American life, written into a fantasy story, and you feel that with the oppressive way surveillance is used in these novels. Yeah. And I think that, I don't know that this... Part of the reason why I don't think plagiarism is very fair towards Christopher Paolini is I don't know that you would have this surveillance element be as strong in a previous version of this novel. Yeah. If it had been written in the 90s, before 9/11. This feels very post 9/11 to me, written into fantasy. Yeah. And I think that's a strength of the book, right? I think that it feels like a product of its time because of that. Sure. Ancient Hydra.
Thank you so much for that super chat. Halfway through the audiobook, read it years ago. I remember this being my favorite of the four, mostly because of Roran's storyline. I'll be watching later. We will catch you later. Enjoy that. I love this book.
Thank you, Hydra. We appreciate the super chat.
I love this book so much. That Arzu says such an interesting take. That's something that did not even cross my mind.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I totally see it.
I was trying to figure out why this feels different. Than other fantasy novels with similar magic systems. Yeah. And that really stood out to me. And I think that it's because I think he's a couple years older than me.
I believe, yes.
But, you know, I'm of that same age where my view on entertainment and media was so shaped by being, 9 years old when 9/11 happened, right? Like that's such a massive part of my life. Yeah. And... So, I really do...
Well, he's 39, so yeah.
Almost. Oh, okay, so he's 8 years older than me. Yeah. So he would have been... Well, I mean, but yeah, he would have been 17 when 9/11 happened, right?
Yeah, so he would have an interesting perspective on it.
The Patriot Act passed while he was in college. Yeah. That's a pretty big... Yeah, that's a pretty big time in your life, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that there's just a really interesting... I didn't feel it as much in the first book. Right. Because the first book is a little bit simple and a little bit more derivative. But now that we're kind of getting into what makes this world different, which is I think what Eldest does really well as a novel, that stands out more.
Yeah. Absolutely. And the lawnmower is back. We love every time we do book club. They decide to cut the grass.
We moved off Fridays thinking that we would get away from this. And
no, here we are. That is fascinating. Never occurred to me. But I love it. I think that, because we learn that, like, Ormus is like, there are so many things that we don't teach to the young writers. Because if they turned out to have, like...
Arzu, thank you for 5 gifted membos!
Arzu, thank you so much! Let's go!
Let's talk about Ormus when we get to Ormus, because we're gonna spend time talking about his teachings.
Absolutely fair.
Thank you, Arzu. Appreciate that. You the best.
Hell yeah!
Michael Kielski got one. Let's go, Michael.
Nice.
Emily Daniels says, I was in my mid-20s and pregnant when 9/11 happened. And to imagine that experience.
Yeah, God, I really cannot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's Nasuada. Let's move on to Roran. Let's do Eragon last.
Yeah.
Save the best for last.
Yeah.
Or, well, actually, I think Roran's plot is more interesting in this book. So.
Yeah, there's just less to cover.
Mm-hmm. So Roran, we start actually with Roran going home.
Yeah.
And Roran sees his farm for the first time.
Yep.
And he's like, I'm gonna fix this. I'm gonna make this a home for Katrina.
Yeah.
My wife. My future wife. And Katrina's like, how about you go, like, fucking talk to my dad, dude? And he's like, no, I'm poor.
He's like, I can't until I have something to offer, which, like...
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how things worked.
And so him and Balder are going hunting, because, it's getting cold, and they gotta get some food on the table. Yeah. And while they're out in the woods, they see the Razak.
Yeah,
and the Razak, which apparently I'm supposed to say Razak, But I'm going to keep saying Razak.
You don't have to say it quite like that.
Razak. And the Razak have brought, like a handful of dudes. They brought a hockey team with them.
Like 30 soldiers, yeah. Some 20 to 30 soldiers.
Nah. Okay, so not a hockey team. More like it's too small to be a football team. 30's a lot for a hockey. Well, no, actually.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, because a hockey team's like 21. What's a sports team that would have like 30 people on it?
Fuck if I know. Baseball? I don't know.
Would a baseball, no, because a baseball team only has like maybe 25.
I literally
Michael
have
Kioski,
no
thank you for
idea.
that super chat.
Thank you.
Happy Halloween. I don't have a good pun, not having read the book. Whoever smelled this Eldest, that's terrible. Yes, it is terrible. I'm going to get back to work. Michael Kioski, thank you so much. We appreciate you.
You nailed it. That was fantastic.
Have a nice day at work.
Thank you for that super chat. Oh my goodness.
So yeah, we'll say they brought a large hockey team.
Sure.
They brought a hockey team during the training camp before people are cut. For the season.
Gotcha.
So there are some less talented players on the team, but the numbers are pretty intimidating.
Yeah. So Roran is like, oh, hey, Horst, hey guys, the Empire, they're here. And Horst is like, okay, well, go pretend you're hunting, and we'll tell them that you're not here.
Yeah. And
How
so
long
he does.
is that gonna last?
Like a week.
Yeah, like barely. Because like a few days later, one of the soldiers like kills a villager. They light the town on fire by accident. The Razak eat the dead guy, and everyone's like, what the fuck is going on here? They're not gonna leave.
Yeah, that was incredibly dark.
Yeah.
But also the fact that the Razak didn't think to the Razak seem kind of dumb here.
Oh, they do not give a fuck.
I know that they don't give a fuck. I get that they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
It seems like Galbatorix wants them to be a secret a little bit.
No.
And they are consistently showing themselves to not be good at that. Like, so many of Galbatorix's problems in this series would not be problems if the Razak weren't morons.
I mean, they're not morons. They just don't care.
Literally all of the main heroes end up working against Galbatorix because the Razak keep doing insanely stupid things.
Yeah, because they like to eat people.
Yeah. No. Again, I get why. Uh-huh. I'm just saying that they would have caught Eragon if they had hung around for 3 hours. And Roran and them wouldn't have known that they were super evil if they hadn't consumed the man and then sent his bones back with bite marks on them.
Yeah, they were hungry.
They keep doing things to send people... Galbatorix really needs to check up on the Razak's methods. Because it's causing him a lot of problems. And he should have won this series. And maybe he does in Bressinger. I don't remember how it ends. But everything goes wrong for Galbatorix because the Razak do some really stupid shit.
Yeah. They've been given free reign for the last 100 years.
Yeah,
Galbatorix, not 100
man,
years,
we got to talk about your fascism, man.
They have to be less than 20 years old. But
25.
No, 20 is when they turn into the Leatherblaka.
Oh, I thought it was 25. Okay.
No, it's 20 years. So the Razak have to be less than 20 years old, but their parents have been around. So yeah, they're just and the Razak are not as smart as their parents either. Their literal function is just to hunt humans. So,
yeah,
that's really all that
they're pretty good
at
it.
Yeah,
they're just really bad at it as well.
Yeah, they're bad at I don't know. I think they did exactly what they wanted to.
Did they?
Yeah, they ate the guy.
Oh, I get that that's what they wanted. I think that they incite the rebellion against them, though. Right?
Oh, for
and
sure.
So it's
they
bad.
are so cocky. They're these are a bunch of random villagers. They literally can't do anything to us.
I know, but if you're going to a town to tell that town to hand over somebody, and you take somebody, eat him, and give him back, and then you're like, but we need you to hand over that other person that you love, the townspeople aren't going to be like, oh yeah, we definitely want to give you Roran. The townspeople are going to be like, hey, we love Roran. We do not want to see him get eaten like our friend, so we're going to resist you.
Yeah, but the Razak...
what happens. It's
but the Razak are like...
I know, but if the Razak thought for like 1 second, they would come to the conclusion that maybe eating the person and sending the bones back with bite marks on it would not... make the townspeople want to give them more people.
I don't know. I think it's an intimidation thing. You go into a town and you kind of fuck shit up a little bit and be like, yeah, if you don't do what we want and hand this person over, you're all gonna get eaten. And a lot of people will be like, yeah, okay, like if it saves my life.
But the blood of Manetheren runs deep in these people, and
they're
not gonna stand for that shit.
You're right. We guys, Carvajal rallies and it's a good time, but. Yeah, no, the Razak are very, very cocky.
I fundamentally disagree with that idea. I think that intimidation ceases working when you go too far, right? And I think that that's the Razak's problem is they think that they just need to be scarier and scarier and scarier.
Yeah.
And that's not how humans react to things. There is a point of no return where humans go, nah, fuck this, we're gonna beat the shit out of you. Mm-hmm. And we know that because human history, right? Like there are a large number of people in our species who would much rather die than give in on fucking anything.
Fair.
You know what I mean? There are Americans who could be getting shot with an AR-15 by some psychopath that should not have a gun, and as they're dying, their final words would be, "It wasn't the guns!" as they're being peppered with, you know what I mean? And, like, that's dark, and I'm sorry. But, like, human beings are stubborn as fuck.
Yeah.
And small towns are the most stubborn people on the planet. They just fucking are. In every culture, the smaller the town, the more stubborn the people. We all know it to be true.
Yeah.
Fantasy likes to make it that it's like the blood of the like old people. No, it's just small towns. It's just fucking. It's just every small town. They're all the fucking same. The people there are stubborn. That's why they live in small towns. Because they refuse to leave and go to a place where other people exist.
True.
The Razak fuck up here again.
Yeah.
And Roran gets away and gets to the Varden. It is the second member of this family that has made it to the Varden to oppose Galbatorix because the Razak fucked up.
Yeah, the soldiers start a fire and Roran is like, oh shit, and he comes back because he's like, I can't let people get hurt for me.
Eric says never go full Night Lords.
I'm sure you get that reference.
I don't. I thought you would.
Oh, okay.
I don't know
either. Sorry, Eric. So he goes back to the village, and they're like, we're gonna fuck up the soldiers.
Well, a soldier burns down like half of Carvajal.
Yeah, and they're like, these guys gotta get out of here. There's a reason that we'll hang someone who is careless with fire, and I was like, okay.
And so Roran,
that's a hanging offense.
Roran, and this is the only part of Roran's story that I wish there was just a reason
for.
Roran picks up a hammer and becomes a fucking, like, god of fighting.
Yeah.
And I just wish there was anything. Like, at least with Perrin, the hammer and the axe are built into the fact that he was a blacksmith. And he's like, I am comfortable with this hammer because I have been working with a hammer since I was, like, in diapers. Roran just is like, I'm going to use a hammer. And then he kills men with swords with a hammer immediately. And he's like, I know how to do this. And I'm like, at least Eragon trained for
weeks
months
and months. Yes.
With the best swordsman on the planet. And I kind of
Brahman's not the best, but
sure, but you know what I mean. Like him and Murtagh are like, Murtagh is like also an incredible human swordsman
for sure.
Like we got the explanation
he pulls a Matt.
He pulls a Matt. Yeah, but Matt at least they retcon in that Matt's dad taught him.
Sure.
And I think that what should have happened here is that they just say that since Garrow's death, Perrin has been... Roran has been fucking around with a hammer so that it never happens again in his...
Or that, like, he like, worked with Horst for a few summers or something, like...
There is so much time unaccounted for between Garrow's death and when we meet Roran again that it would have been very easy to just say that he's been...
Not really. Roran comes back right away and goes to his farm.
What are you talking about? There's literally months. No,
the beginning of this book is, like, back during, like, Eragon. Like, of Roran's story.
No, it's not.
Because Roran goes to Therinsford, right? And then gets the letter that Garrow is dead, and then comes back and we see him go to see the farm.
It's still been months, though.
Has it been that long?
It has to, because they get to fucking, they get to the big fight at the end of the book at the same time.
Yeah. But there's, like, weeks that pass in both, like,
I'm
POVs,
saying that
so I actually don't know how much time passes.
All I'm saying is that it would have been very easy to say that since Garrow died, it would have been very easy to say Garrow died. There are evil people who killed him. Roran and the boys of Carvajal have been practicing fighting so that this never happens again.
Right.
They've been like sparring and like trying to. It just would have been very easy to justify that these characters have spent the time that Eragon was flying around doing fucking loop-de-loops falling for an elf, practicing and like getting good at this.
Yeah. Arazu does say it has been months. You're right. He hasn't seen the farm in a long time, so.
You know what I mean? The time
yeah.
is built into the series to just say that they've been doing that, and instead Roran is just like, I'm raging like a barbarian when I go into fights, and I take half piercing damage.
Oh, if this was D&D, Roran would be a barbarian.
Yeah, because he keeps being like, the bloodlust comes over me, and I just fucking murder everything.
Just go for it.
I've never learned how to fight. This is the old blood.
Yeah, it's the blood of Manetheren, obviously. Yep, so he picks up a hammer. They fight off the soldiers. The Razaks say, you can hand over Roran or we'll eat all of you. Well, here's the thing as well. They're kind of assholes. They're like, if you hand over Roran, we'll sell you as slaves. If you don't hand over Roran, we'll eat you. And it's like, well...
Okay, well,
neither of those options are
fight.
great.
Like,
yeah.
You've not provided us
option
with an
3.
option to...
We're gonna make up our own option.
I will be very honest. I would rather die on the battlefield than be eaten or enslaved.
Yep.
Maybe
absolutely.
That's crazy to say.
No,
but
I'm right with you there. And the soldiers.
At least I'm 6'4". I'll give you a fight.
That's
you know
true.
what I mean. I'll put in the work.
I will do my best.
You tell me that I'm gonna get eaten if I lose. Oh, I'm gonna fight hard.
Yeah. That's really gonna.
That's adrenaline. That's like.
It's gonna get me going
till the last gasp.
Yep. The soldiers.
The villagers. It's time to cut down the math on what they say happens in one day.
It's great. I love it.
Is fucking nonsense.
I love that Roran is like, we're gonna build a wall. Gonna build me a wall. And
make it 10 feet high.
And the villagers are like, what? No, how can we possibly do that? And Roran is like, if each of you takes 1 hour to knock down a tree, then like we're Gucci. And they're like, how dare you say it's gonna take us a whole hour? I haven't taken that long since I was a child. And you're like, well then why did you fucking complain?
It isn't the cutting down trees.
No, it's the like building the wall and the trenches.
It's the digging the fucking... Do you know how long it takes to dig a trench around a town?
I do not. But also it's a very small town.
It's 300 people.
Yeah.
That's not small. The trenches, digging takes so much time. It takes so much fucking time. And they're like, we're going to get this done in about 4 hours. And I was like, what are we talking about?
So many of them are farmers that actual Carvajal is maybe like 50 houses. Like maybe. No, not even that many. It would be like maybe like 30 houses.
I understand what you were saying. The idea that you would build a trench and cut down a shit ton of trees and sharpen all the trees' branches and lay brambles over those in one day? A day? In fucking insanity.
Nah, they
This
is
rally. Not D&D
they rally.
where you've got the druid using move earth to fucking just build you a fucking trench. These people, like, it can... Oh, yeah. I was... And it's
the
fine.
defenses don't work because it
doesn't
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter at all. But, like, I was reading this, like...
They use fireworks for the trenches, obviously.
Oh, right. They pack them deep and then...
explosives. I love it.
But yeah, so they build the most insane defense system possible.
Yeah. And then Roran cries about his murder, and then Katrina's like, "It's okay."
Which is great scene.
Oh no, it is great.
I really appreciated Roran's response to killing. I thought it was really well handled, and I think it says a lot about I think it says a lot about the family. Eric Munson says, that depends entirely on the soil type. Sandy soil is not a problem. Clay soil, I think you mean. Forget it. It's almost winter. That shit, they're probably digging through, like, frost.
No. Winter just ended.
Okay, it's still... They're in the far north in a mountain range.
Yeah.
That's fucking digging. That's not, like, fucking easy shit. It does not matter. It so doesn't matter. It's just goofy.
It's fun. But yeah, Roran has this moment with Katrina where he's like, I killed people.
Yeah.
And
she's like, yeah, and I'm fucking turned on as fuck right now, boy.
Okay, that's not how it goes.
I'm fucking moist.
But probably. And he's like, will you marry me? And she's like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Okay, fine, if you insist.
Well, no, she actually, like, threatens him into it, so... She's
not like, I'll go fuck somebody else if you don't ask me.
If you don't do this, I will marry one of the people my father says I have to marry.
Yeah.
So
now they're engaged in secret.
Roran is like, all right, we've built our defenses. We got to get these kiddos up to the mountain.
Yeah.
They're going to go stand on top of a waterfall and watch all the men of their families die.
Well, it's better than, also dying, I guess.
Oh, no, 100%. They don't have tinkers to run away with the kids if things get bad. So
exactly.
This makes sense. But Roran wants Katrina to go and protect the kiddos. And Katrina's like, my dad's fucking not going to let me do that.
Because the soldiers break through their, like, wall or whatever, right? And, like, a kid dies. And Roran is like, oh, fuck. Like, we need to get people
all of this arguing happens before that, though.
No.
They are preparing to get the kids out of town when the first attack happens, right?
I don't believe so. I believe that, like...
It doesn't matter.
Regardless, they attack, and, like, Roran and Sloane fight side by side, and he's like, oh, maybe this ain't so bad. And then he's like, okay, but no, the kids and women need to leave.
Right, yeah.
And Sloane is like, over my fucking dead body. And Roran is like, Katrina, I need you to go so that I feel better. And she's like, as long as you ask me to never leave again. And he's like, okay.
Which is such a weird ultimatum.
Yeah, like, I'll never do it again. It's like, is this the most danger you're gonna be in? I don't know.
But also, like, do you also have magic fighting powers? Like, mm-mm. Katrina, do you learn immediately how to pick up a weapon?
She's
and then
just a redhead. Yeah.
I just was like, Katrina, like, what are you... I understand the idea of, like, no, I want to be here and fight with you.
Yeah.
In a situation... I get it, but at the same time, it's like, somebody needs to go watch those kids.
Yeah, oh, for sure,
like,
for
it's
sure.
It's not a less honorable position to have in this situation.
Yeah.
Blue, thank you for 5 gifted members.
So much. I appreciate it. Hell yeah, so much green in this chat.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think Katrina's being a little bit unreasonable here.
Yeah, they're kids.
She's very ultimatum heavy.
Yeah.
You know what? I think that it wouldn't bug me as much if she hadn't just made him an ultimatum.
Fair.
Katrina and Roran's relationship is a little bit toxic.
Ultimatums.
Where Katrina just says, like, you have to do this or else.
Yeah.
And I think that if it was one ultimatum or the other, I don't think... Because the first one doesn't bug me as much.
Yeah.
It's the second one
and
where
then
I'm like...
second one, yeah.
Is this, like, how you do all of your relationships? Is just, like, making demands? She's 16?
Yeah.
Oh, so she's Eragon's age. I thought she was older.
Well, no, because Roran is only...
Roran's 2 years older.
2 years older.
So he's 18.
Yeah, and, like, him and Katrina are... Yeah. So, yeah, she's about 16.
I just, like, guys... Okay, I'm going to be very honest. If you are in a relationship where your partner frequently makes ultimatums to you, you need to get into couples counseling.
Yeah, you gotta talk about
have
that.
A therapist shame them for that behavior.
Shame.
Yeah.
Just buy a bell.
Ultimatums aren't healthy. And also, like... Roran is being reasonable here.
Yeah. But, like, I also, like, I wouldn't want to leave you in danger, and so it's like...
I would be like, shut the fuck up. You are small.
Uh-huh.
We're getting into a sword fight.
And I will use my bow.
No. Okay, yeah, sure. If you're going to use your bow, get 40 paces back. I'm not letting anyone fucking near you.
Yeah.
But, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things where it's like... Yeah. Eric Munson says, never give ultimatums unless you are ready to accept the outcome. People frequently aren't.
Facts. So Katrina is
How
like,
dare
all right.
you break up with me over the situation I forced you into?
Yeah, right?
Where I told you that we were going to break up if you didn't do exactly
dare.
what I said.
You chose breakup? Unacceptable. You only have one choice. Yeah, so Katrina's like, all right, I'm leaving. And Sloane
But you have to tell my dad.
Yeah. And Sloane is like, no, you're not leaving. And Roran is like, she's leaving. And Sloane is like, you have no right. And Roran is like, I have every right. We're gonna be married. And he's like, get fucking wrecked.
I love though that in the first book, it is set up that like the whole town is gonna fucking lose it if we do this. And then they do it, and the rest of the town is like, nah, we're pretty cool.
Oh no,
we're pretty chill.
Immediately afterwards, there are people who come over and are like, you did the wrong thing. Like, Roran says there's, like, many people who come over and congratulate them, and then there's also people who are like, what the fuck are you thinking?
Yeah, but all of the people who are upset, other than Sloane, are people who I don't know who they are. So
well, because they're not
it
named.
has less impact, right?
Yeah.
Every named character in town is A-okay with it.
They're also
Sloane.
they're dealing with bigger problems right now. Because Sloane makes Katrina choose between him and Roran, and she chooses Roran, and so Sloane disowns her.
Of course you choose Roran.
And,
your dad's an asshole.
Your dad kind of sucks. Yep.
And so she's not going to get her inheritance, which is, like, doilies.
No, it's not.
They literally say it's like the lace for your table.
Well, yeah, it's like the things to make like a house into a home.
Yeah, make new shit.
Oh my god.
What?
Whatever. It's
have a registry at like fucking,
fucking the bay.
The Hudson's Bay.
Yeah.
And have your family give you some cookware. How
but
many pots do you need?
She has no family.
Invite the whole town to the wedding.
We're all family now. It's Olive Garden.
I mean, the old blood runs deep in them, so I think there's a little bit of incest going on.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Oh, wait. We have to talk about my favorite thing. So we get into Roran's POV.
Yeah.
And in book 1, last week, I kind of said, like, it is strange for a town like this to have such a fully stocked blacksmithy.
Yes.
And then Roran's first POV.
Explained.
Christopher Alini was like, yeah, this is the specific reason why this remote town has such a fully stocked blacksmithy.
Yeah.
And I was like, I love when my neurotic fucking, like, attention to detail brain picks up on something that a writer then explains away, that a writer then justifies, right?
They're like, don't worry, this makes sense. And you're like, oh, like, thank you.
It is weird that this fucking guy in the middle of nowhere has all of this metal brought to him. Why would he, like, what's the justification for needing to have all these ingots and shit? And the book is like, boom, reason.
You're like, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
99.9% of the people who read the book don't fucking give a shit about that stuff, but I do. And so I like when authors get into the details about that. Anyway.
We like details. Attention to detail is sexy.
Randy Rand says, Americans might think you'll get furs from the Hudson's Bay. You can actually get furs from the Hudson's Bay.
Yeah.
They do sell fur items.
Blankets and stuff, yeah.
You could buy a nice fur rug.
You absolutely could.
A fur jacket.
Hudson's Bay has kind of everything. It's wild.
That's why they're going out of business.
Including like a hot food section. Like you can like go in. What? They have like a food court. The one downtown. Yeah, they have like their own food court.
At Eaton Center?
Yeah, the one that's across from
But the Eaton Center has a food court.
Yeah. You go right across and on the lowest level, there's like the food court in the Hudson's Bay. Yeah.
Anyway.
So, Elaine is like, hey, Roran, you better not be fucking around with Katrina because you just ruined her life. And he's like, no, I actually love her. And she's like...
Roran's like, have you ever seen me talk to another woman?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, there are no other women my age in this book.
Yeah. And we don't
Also, Eragon is like, in the Eragon parts, he's like, yeah, like, I never got to, like, flirt with anyone in Carvajal. And I'm like, who was there to flirt?
There's, like 7 people.
There's only one named woman under the age of, like, 40. And it's your brother's fiance.
Yeah, pretty much. And then we don't need to add smut because Katrina comes into Roran's room and they definitely get freaky.
You think they fuck?
I mean...
I think so, too.
Know. Yeah.
I understand
they're
the, like,
engaged
traditional...
to be married, right? Like...
Yeah, but I also think that, like, in the quiet part of that night, when they're like, we shouldn't do this, one of them goes... We might die. We're probably going to die. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
You know, I think they have sex.
I think they do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If I know anything about 17-year-olds...
And much like a horror film, they are immediately punished for having sex.
Yes.
Because the Rizak
come in
break
and they steal Katrina.
Man.
Because Sloane, fucking asshole, killed Bird and let the soldiers in and told them where Roran was.
Right, his name was Bird. I was like, he killed a bird?
He killed a bird. He killed the carrier pigeon. So Sloane obviously is not very happy that Katrina was there in Roran's room. Definitely probably thought Roran would be alone. I don't know why he would think that, you dumb fuck. Sloane did not think that one through. He's not a very smart man.
And in the loss of Katrina, Roran gets bit by the Rizak's beak.
Yes. Yes, snip snop.
So we have to get through this. There's like so much that happens. So Roran is like, yo, fucking these guys are gonna kill us.
Let's leave. Going in 2 days.
Let's go through the spine.
He gives the most epic speech of epic speeches.
It's pretty fucking good. It's a good speech.
Honestly, it's great. And all the villagers are like, holy shit.
And most of them go, and the people that don't are dead. So that's sad.
Pretty much.
Because there's more soldiers coming. The Rizak fly away on the leather blaka.
Yeah.
Which we don't know their names yet, and we don't know that they just fly away on their parents, which is...
Right.
I forgot
we don't know that
about...
Yet.
I completely forgot about that.
Oh, okay.
And fuck, that's so funny. Like,
Daddy!
As you get older,
Daddy!
you just become a fucking, like... You become your child's car.
Well, when you put it like that, it sounds
Hey,
weird.
kids. I'm resigned to be in the local school bus.
Daddy, I need a ride.
But also, like... And I think that maybe this is the problem with the Rizak as, like, a species, right? Is the only ones that can interact with the humans are the dumb ones. Because they get smarter when they become the leather blaka.
Yes.
Like, it literally is written in that, like, oh, no. The ones that you interact with are fucking idiots. It's their rides that are the intelligent ones.
Yeah.
But they don't go into town ever or do anything. They just are literally a mode of transportation.
Pretty much.
And so I feel like
they're
the Rizak...
a little harder to sneak into town. You know what I mean? Like, if you saw that coming at you, you would not provide any information.
I just think that the Rizak are constantly going back to the leather blaka and they're like, hey, how did fighting for Galbatorix's cause go today? And the Rizak like, this is what we did. This is, and then the leather black are like, oh my god, I'm raising the fucking dumbest people on. You just left. You found him. You found the fucking egg. You found his house. You had his dad.
And you left.
Could have held his dad hostage to have him give you the egg, and you just fucking you left.
Well, yeah,
you had every advantage in the world, and you fucking oh my god, my child is such a goddamn idiot.
But here's the thing. I don't think the leather blocker can talk, so they're just like, and you're like, sorry, I can't, Dad, I don't know what you're saying.
Wait, so that when they turn into their more intelligent form, they lose the ability to speak?
I don't know if the leather blocker can talk. Like, actually. I think they might be able to communicate telepathically, but I don't think they can talk out loud, which is why the Rizak have to go into the towns, because the leather blocker can't say shit.
Can you imagine as you get older?
They're just like...
You just slowly become a car that can't speak. It would be like if we turned into Transformers, but we're specifically Bumblebee, and could, as we get older, we can only communicate through radio sounds, and our children ride around inside of us.
Telepathy, okay? They got some tricks. I love that.
The Rizak's lives are hell.
Should we ask? Should we write an email to Paolini and be like, "Hey, so are the leather block of the magic school bus?"
Oh my god! I want you to do a mashup cosplay, and it's Mrs. Frizzle and a Rizak.
That is horrific. How dare you?
Oh my god, that is so funny.
Yeah.
I want the scene with the two leather blacka like mentally communicate. Their children are literally on their backs and they're mentally communicating like, I think we fucked up.
And we fucked up. Yeah. Can we return them?
Do you think the idiocy is from my side of the family or yours?
It's like, well, we're from the same side of the family, so.
Oh my god, that's so funny. No, they lay eggs, so they must. Yeah. One of them lays eggs and one of them fertilizes. There must be a male and a female Rizak.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, but
they might be. Yeah. They might be brother and sister. Who knows?
Where are we going today, Miss Frazackle?
Frazackle. That would be a mashup that nobody would understand, but I think is hilarious. Anyways, they leave Carvajal and they travel 4 months across the spine, and they finally get to Narda.
Can I just, I'm going to say really quickly here, I was a little bit disappointed that after everything we like built into the danger of the spine and the mystery of the missing army, that not only does nothing happen in the spine, it is just skipped over.
Yeah, because the spine's actually not that scary. It's just a rumor that is scary. The spine is like a mountain range.
Yeah, I get that. From a like fantasy world building point of view.
They're like, don't worry about it. The spine,
it would be like if, it'd be like if in the middle of the Lord of the Rings, they're like, oh, we'll take the mines of Moria. And then it's like on the other side of the mines of Moria, you'd be like, oh, well, that was easy.
Only if nothing happened in the mines, you know what I mean? Then what is he going to describe? It was very cold. There were lots of trees.
You can just, I know, but as the author, you can just put something there.
Yeah.
Something could have happened.
You wanted this to be longer?
I mean, length doesn't matter to me if it's good.
Fair.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't give a shit. I don't care if the book's longer or shorter if I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
I just was kind of like, they just made it through the spine. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, they made it through the spine. They go to Narda. They hire a man called Clove and his barges and to sail them to Tyr. They're like, we're transporting livestock. And
wait, isn't
like,
his name Clovis?
Clovis? Maybe. I don't know. When I was writing notes very late, it was very late.
Arzu says the books keep getting longer.
Clovis, yeah.
That is true.
Yeah, no, I think it's Clovis.
Nerdy just said size doesn't matter. It's true.
Giggity.
Hey, you can do a lot with very little.
That's true.
And sometimes you can do very little with a lot, is all I'm saying.
Facts. Yeah, they hire Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Clovis. And they're like, it's fine, it's livestock. And he's like, all right, well, we'll leave tomorrow.
When Roran says, why can't I consider them livestock? I was like,
I am their shepherd.
So many reasons, my dude.
I mean, there are livestock with them.
There isn't a lot of Christian imagery in this book, but like Roran being Jesus in that moment was very strange.
Yeah. No, I mean, he was like, it doesn't matter. It gets them on the boat. Like, he's like, I'm lying, but not lying. Like,
Clovis really doesn't care that much. He would have said no if he'd known, obviously.
He definitely cares. He attacks Roran, and Roran is like, don't fucking do that again. And he's like, you know what? You're right. You're right.
Is that why he attacks? Right.
Yeah,
I thought he attacks Roran because of the bells, the alarm.
Well, it's
I think
after the alarm bells, and they pick up people.
I think if the alarm bells hadn't gone off, he wouldn't have attacked him, though.
Maybe.
I think it is the mixture of the two things.
Yeah. But Roran is like, if you hate the Empire, you'll want to help us. And he's like, fuck, well, what fucking choice do I have? So yeah, they sail, they
kill some soldiers.
They kill some soldiers. They
flee.
Sail down to
Roran, they see the message board for the first time.
Oh, in Narda, yeah.
There is an image of Roran.
Yeah.
Which implies, kind of hilariously, that there is a sketch artist somewhere in the Empire that sat down with the Razak, and the Razak detailed what Roran looked like. And Christopher Paolini, you are a coward for not giving us that scene.
Yeah,
it is authorial, like malcontent. I want to draw you up on charges and take you before the Supreme Court for not giving us the scene where a Razak has to explain to an artist what Roran looks like.
Yeah,
because that is the funniest fucking. That is the funniest thing
I need it
ever.
I need it in my life.
Also, like, it's already in fucking Narda, this little fishing village in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, it's been weeks. It takes a long time to get through the spine.
Yeah, but it also takes a long time.
His arm fully heals. Well, fully heals. It's not fully healed.
And I get it. Like, the Razak is there. Like, I totally understand. I want the scene. I want it so bad. Of the Razak being like, yeah, so he's got like brown hair. And the guy's like, I'm working with color doesn't matter.
Yeah, we don't have pencil crayons, you know?
And you just see like this artist being like, is this it? And the Razak's like, no, his chin is wrong. He had more of a like butt chin.
Oh, god damn it.
He had a little bit of stubble, but it was like patchy. It's a little bit,
you know. I want that scene.
None of the soldiers saw him, so it had to be the Razak.
Well, here's the thing. The twins technically, like, saw Roran in Eragon's mind, so, like, they could have described him to Galbatorix and the sketch artists. But like,
So no. Because in your version, the Rizak go all the way back to Urubain and then all the way to Narda.
well, yeah, they're flying around.
They have that sketch artist with them.
Magic school bus.
That sketch artist is local.
It's a local sketch artist, so it's different in every city.
No.
The sketch is slightly different.
I think it's probably
local.
like in one of like the towns just outside of the mountains. But I don't think those Rizak are going all the way back to Urubain.
Of course they are. They're reporting to the king.
They've got actually they don't have magic.
No.
Why don't the Rizak have a magic user with them to communicate? It doesn't matter. It so
because
doesn't
the
matter.
Rizak probably eat everybody that they work with. They probably get hungry and are like, meh.
This is a nightmare. The more we talk about them, the more I'm like, Galbatorix, there are you have better people for this. Like, Galbatorix literally has magicians.
Yeah.
And instead he sends out Tweedledee and Tweedledum, the two
but they're scary,
cannibalistic
Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
I know, but being scary is less important than being effective, and they are without a doubt not effective.
Yeah.
They're really good at killing.
Yeah.
And they kill Braum, and that's great.
Yeah.
They do their job in one fucking instance. But in every other fucking thing they do, these fucking idiots are the dumbest motherfuckers.
So they get to Tyr, and there's like a kid, Mandel, and his mom is like, my son is turning into a gambler.
They support local artists.
They support local artists. Of course they do. See, the Empire's vision, Galbatorix's vision is truly beautiful.
There's a thriving arts economy in his fascism.
Why not? Maybe he is a lover of the arts.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Yeah, this kid's mom is like, Roran, my son, he won't listen to me and he's gambling all of our stuff. And Roran is like, all right, I'm going to take that kid with him and teach him a lesson. They go into Tyr. They're trying to find supplies. And everything is way too fucking expensive.
Yeah.
They can't afford shit. And some guy is like, oh, you need supplies? There's an auction for poor old Joe Longshanks.
I loved this.
Yeah,
I thought this was I think that this is such a wonderful way to pay off something that was set up in the first book.
Absolutely.
And it allows two characters who do not know each other for any reason to meet in a place that there's not really a good reason for them to just run into each other. It would be very coincidence heavy.
Yes.
But the way we get there is not a coincidence.
Empire's fault.
Well, and it's world building, right?
Yeah.
Like the Jode's difficulties are set up a full book ago with different characters.
Yeah.
And I think that was just a really smart choice. Like, I think that yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. We did talk about, we said he met Clovis and they sailed on barges.
Yeah. There wasn't a lot there.
There's not that much. We mentioned that he killed the soldiers. And
they saw the Rizak in the sky.
Yeah. We also mentioned that, like, Clovis, like, attacked Roran.
And so they go to meet Jode, and Jode lets them in again because the butler keeps being like, Jode can't see anybody, and then Jode always wants to see people.
He's very busy.
Jode is so lonely.
Yeah.
He's just a lonely man
who
just
his wife
wants
hates
company.
him right now. Like,
he just wants anyone to come say
hi.
Like,
he just needs human connection. But I do love that the reason that Roran is able to get to the Varden is, like, the Empire's fault. Because if Jode hadn't been, like, destitute and bankrupt, this would never have happened.
Yeah. And they're doing pretty good on keeping what's going on secret. Obviously, Jode is like, I can't sell you shit because it's being auctioned. That's not how
bankruptcy works.
And they're doing pretty good until Malden is like, yeah, our friend Gertrude wanted to see a herbalist. And he's like, wait, Gertrude? A boy named Eragon mentioned is it the same Gertrude? And then Jode is like, wait, you're Roran. The name Gertrude.
He realizes that he's asking questions for what they need, and is like, "You're trying to transport a lot of people."
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And Roran is like, "Yes," and then they mention Gertrude, and
I'm assuming Jode's ability to remember a name that he heard 7 months ago is.
He's very well
learned. Because, like, I would be like...
Oh, I could never.
I know, like, 12 Gertrudes.
Could never. But if you're, like, a spy and you're sneaking stuff, like, you know, out of the Empire to a rebellion, I feel like, you know, maybe you remember things like that. And maybe Gertrude is not a very common name.
This is why I am not a spy.
Yeah, me neither.
FBI, don't ask.
No. And so Jode explains to Roran everything. He's like, oh, by the way, Eragon is a rider with the dragon. That's why they offered an earldom for his capture. You're kind of fucked. So let's steal this ship and all go to the Varden together.
I do love that this becomes like the Pirates of the Caribbean. Mm-hmm. They're literally like, oh yeah, well, we'll just steal a pirate ship.
Yeah, it's fine.
And then we're going to ride past a magic whirlpool. Like, this is the most Pirates of the... Like, Joe... No,
the
but
boar's eye.
if I'm not even joking. If I were to direct season 2 of the TV show, I would shoot all of this like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
I would have the music.
Yeah. But
like, Roran goes on a Pirates of the Caribbean
Disney,
adventure.
Actually, they own the music. You could use the music if you wanted.
That's very funny. I think there's like a really fun element to them becoming pirates that I would play up.
Yeah.
This doesn't really do it. There's kind of like one scene where they're like trying to row through past the thing. Because they do steal the ship. It's not
Well,
hard.
they light the fucking shore on fire, and
Yeah.
like you're like, we probably hurt some people, but oopsie.
Jode finally comes clean with his wife.
Yeah.
And she's like, how can I ever trust you again? And he's like, please, I love you.
He's like, you can't.
Run away with me. Let me be a ride out of town. Let me be the place where you hide. We can make a home on the run. Run away with me. And she doesn't show up initially, but when they get down to the ship, she gets there.
She's late. Yeah. She takes her time.
She
She's
was
got to
packing.
pack. Yeah, exactly.
It's like me trying to get anywhere. I have to put in an extra like 15, 20 minutes for Clarice to put stuff in her bag.
Probably, yeah. They realize the Razak are scared of water because they won't like fly off the shore. Huh?
Do you think that Helen brings her ID when they go out?
I don't think they have ID.
I mean, they have sketch artists in every town, so...
Yeah, so why would they have
Can you imagine?
identification?
You turn 16, you have to go sit for a portrait.
Oh my god.
For your carriage license.
My carriage license.
Mom,
my boat license.
I've been 16 for 3 weeks. I want to go get my carriage license.
God, I hate that. The Empire chases them on sloops, which I only knew what they were because I played Puzzle Pirates as a kid. Yes?
Yeah.
Puzzle Pirates is great. It's very fun. The sloops chase them into a storm, and then the storm kind of buys them a bit more time so that they can sail through a 15-mile wide whirlpool.
Everything about Roran's story in this feels like we're hearing it the way Roran tells it to Eragon later.
He's like, it was 15 miles wide.
We dug a trench around the whole town in one day. And Eragon's like...
crazy. Eragon is like...
one day?
It's
actually like a 7-foot long hole in front of the road.
That's why the soldiers got in, because it wasn't actually a trench. I kind of discovered in like book club that like I can't like picture things. Mm-hmm. And so like I never have understood how the whole boar's eye thing works because I don't know anything about whirlpools, and like to me it just looks like the imaging of like a hurricane. Like that's
but it's a
picture.
hurricane down.
Yeah.
15 miles is like
bonkers.
A 15-mile diameter is... I'm trying to think of a good, like, what is like 15 miles?
You think of that, I pee.
All right, bye, Clarus. The carriages are drawn by horses. The portraits for carriage license are also drawn, but not by horses. Very funny, Michael Kioski. What would be a good, like, what is 15 miles across? Is Manhattan 15 miles across? It might be. Manhattan size in miles. So Manhattan is like 22 miles. 22 square miles. So if you cut off like the bottom of it, Manhattan is 13.4 miles. Yeah, so it literally is like the length of all of Manhattan. Can you imagine? Oh, yeah, it's just a whirlpool the size of New York City. Totally normal thing to run your ship around. But they do. They pull it off. And then that's the end of Roran's story. And I can't wait to see that in live action because it's actually a really cool idea. And now for the most important. We're you know what? We've done half the characters. We're about halfway through the show. It's time for me to say, while Clarus is not here, that this podcast is brought to you by Misty Mountain Gaming. Misty Mountain Gaming is a dice and tabletop RPG accoutrement company that makes only the best math rocks for the best people. If you want 15% off your order at MistyMountainGaming.com, use code nerdynightly15.
What?
And you will get that automatically added to your cart. They're pretty great, and I love them. And I roll them even when I'm not playing games. Sometimes I'll just go pick up a dice and roll a d20 to see how my day is going to be.
Gonna go.
And I rolled a natural 1 today, and it's about right. All right.
Wow, it's Halloween.
I'm sleepy.
Are we gonna get some Halloween candy?
Yeah, if you want. Do you want candy corn?
No, I don't hate candy
candy
corn, but like I also don't love it. I'm like one of those people that I'm like I would eat it. So okay, so how large is this eye?
Manhattan.
See, that doesn't really help me.
A place that you've been to multiple times doesn't help.
Yeah, but like haven't been from one end to the other. I've been to like 7 streets.
It's like downtown Calgary.
Downtown Calgary is like 6 blocks.
No, I'm talking about all of downtown Calgary, from like the pump house to the other side of Stampede.
That doesn't seem that large. Manhattan seems like much larger than that. You mean like the whole island, right?
Oh, no, but it's the length of the island if you spun it all the way around.
Yeah, okay.
The diameter is the length of the island.
Sure.
But it's the length of the island in every direction.
Yeah, see, that seems much larger than Calgary to me.
Downtown Calgary's massive.
No, it's 6 blocks.
But if you go up all the way to like the park and everything, it's not 6 blocks. First of all, it's 12, but
I can walk it in like 15 minutes.
In one direction, but like to walk around the radius of that?
Yeah.
It does not matter. It's like a half marathon. Yeah, it's a half a marathon to run across it.
But basically, the only way that they get out of the boar's eye is because there's just so many villagers to replace the people who like pass out from rowing. And they make it. Yay! Congratulations.
And apparently rowing the boat has made Roran's shoulder feel better.
No, it was cutting the trees
that's what it was,
through the spine.
Yeah.
Because they literally had to cut
my
a path
permanently injured shoulder is stronger now?
Well, he's like, he got his original strength back, but he doesn't have the mobility. He can't lift it past like here.
But I'm sure magic will fix that at some point.
What?
Chapter 1. A twin disaster. This is the beginning of Eragon, our main character. He is... it's been 3 days since the events of the book Eragon.
Yep.
And the Urgles attack again, and Ajahad is dead, and the twins and Murtag are gone, and... it starts off
spicy. Running start.
The first chapter with Eragon and the last 2 chapters with Eragon are where all of the action happens for Eragon.
Yes.
And then in the middle, he's around.
Yes, exactly.
Relaine, thank you for that super chat.
Thank you so much.
Catching up with book club this morning, I've been enjoying the reread.
Nice.
I also don't remember anything since reading these books 10 years ago. Same.
It's nice to revisit them, you know? I always like reading things I've read before because it's comfortable.
Ajahad's death comes in pretty quick here.
Yeah.
Same with Murtag and the twins.
Well, yeah. Ajahad is like, hey, Eragon, I'm dying. Can you keep the Varden from falling into chaos? And Eragon's like, I'll do my best.
Yeah.
And then he asks Arya to go look for the twins and Murtag because their bodies are not there. She does. She goes in the tunnels. She does not find anything except some bloodied clothes. And they can't scry them.
I do appreciate that Arya is... The elves are basically the Aiel.
Oh, yeah, they run... They
have a very complicated sense of, like, duty and honor.
Yes, they run faster than horses.
They run faster than horses.
Absolutely. I mean, to be fair, they are magically enhanced physically.
100%. But there is a very...
The elves are the Aiel.
Yeah, they're very similar to the Aiel in that way. And the Council of Elders are like, we're going to nominate Nasuada, who is apparently 18, which seems insane to me.
Yeah.
And so she's going to lead the Varden, and Eragon is like, I will swear fealty to somebody.
Yeah, I will swear fealty.
And then to Nasuada, he's like, it's you.
You.
I don't trust them, so I'm going to swear fealty to you. And she's like, ooh, you're being tricksy. And he's like, I am
Play our
being tricksy.
game. De Estamar. I like to see it.
I would love for, I would love for if the TV show gets made, and I think it will.
I think
Strike
it will.
and everything.
Yeah.
I would love for Nasuada and Eragon's friendship to be a little sassy. Like, I don't need Eragon to be gay in the show, but I want him to have, like, gay friend energy with Nasuada. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're like, ooh,
Like, they have, like,
you.
little looks with each other.
Queen. Your funeral robes looked great.
And so Arya's like, I think you're so fucking stupid for saying you're gonna swear fealty. You fucking idiot. Aragon, fuck you, you dumb little bitch.
Aragon's like,
fucking,
what am I supposed to
do you have worms for brains, you fucking idiot? And Aragon's like, I swear I'm gonna swear to Nasuada, not the Varden. And she's like,
well,
okay.
Better. She's like, it's better, I guess.
I'm like, Arya, just fucking, like, ask before you...
To be fair, Eragon is a child. Like,
which is why you still ask. As soon as Eragon explains what he did, she's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But she goes so hard on him at first.
Yeah. She's pissed. Because she's like, you need to go, like, train with the elves. Like, that is the most important thing right now.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh no, like, the Varden are going to stop that. And Eragon's like, no, don't worry, I got this. And he's like, oh, okay. Well, she's like, maybe I misunderestimated.
Just, like, ask literally one fucking question.
Yeah.
And so they go
to Hrothgar.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Hrothgar.
hey, so the Council of Elders is going to nominate Nasuada. We're going to support her. I think you should as well. You know, Nasuada seems smarter than she lets off. She's like, not going to let them control her.
She's pretty chill.
Yeah, she's pretty chill. And Saphira's like, hey, I feel really bad about breaking Isidar Mithrim. I'm going to fix it. And Hrothgar's like, can you do that? She's like, yeah.
And so the dwarves are so happy that maybe at some point the thing will get fixed that they party the fucking night away, even though Ajahad just died.
They go fucking hard because they're like, the funeral is tomorrow, so we're gonna celebrate tonight. Saphira drinks so much she literally tries to bow and falls over, and I do
love that they get so drunk that they just leave them in the banquet hall alone. They're like, okay, everybody. They're gonna sleep here.
They're like, we can't move Saphira, so just let them be. There's literally nothing we can do. That's it.
Yeah, and so Ajihad has a beautiful funeral where he is laid to rest nearby the dwarven tombs, but not quite in them.
But like in the rock, you know, it's still an honor that they give him. Yeah.
Eragon and Saphira almost miss it because they're too hungover.
Yep. Pretty much.
And we get to Nasuada being raised to be the leader of the Varden.
Yeah.
The fealty oath happens, and Jormungandr is very, like, pleased with himself that he's about to have the fealty of a rider, and then him and the rest of the...
No.
Yeah, they all have very pleased faces, and then he's, like, for a moment, he's pissed, and then he, like, catches himself first, and the other members of the other council members don't recover as quickly.
Jormungandr is surprised, but he doesn't get mad. He's like, oh.
He's a little bit mad.
Oh, okay.
He's a little bit mad, and then he recovers. And then the others don't recover.
What's his face?
They all have a moment, but Jormungandr is the, like, quickest one to, like, fix his features. And then it's like down the line, one at a time, they, like, get their shit together.
I never read it as, like, he was, like, mad about it. I thought he was, like, surprised. And he's like, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
All right.
But, the council is not happy.
Yeah. And then Triana tries to fuck Eragon.
Yeah.
And Saphira's like, cock block.
Scares her away.
The best thing that could have happened here is if Saphira wasn't a fucking cock block and Eragon lost his V card. You know what I mean? He just needs a little sloppy toppy so that when he goes to the elves, he's not so, like, fucking blue-balled for Arya.
Yeah, but Triana kind of, like, sucks, you know?
I don't care. He just... your first time... When you are as, like, almost incel-y as Eragon sometimes is, you just need to fuck something.
Yeah.
Literally, like, a peach, honeydew melon. No, I'm kidding. But Call Me By Your Name. God, I wish Armie Hammer wasn't in that movie.
The fuck?
And I also wish that Timothée Chalamet was playing an 18-year-old. That movie's weird, but it's also, like, really beautiful. It's fucked. There's a whole scene where Timothée Chalamet comes in a peach and then Armie Hammer eats it.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought you were talking about, like, what's his face? Jonah Hill? Is it Jonah Hill who like fucks like a melon in like a movie? I don't remember what movie, but like his friend like walks in and he's had like microwaved it to make it warmer. I like can't remember what this movie is. Chat's gonna be like, what the fuck?
Sounds pleasant.
Sure, I wouldn't know.
Anyway, so it would have been better if Trion and Eragon had fucked here, so he could have got that out of his system.
Yeah.
And maybe been a little bit less like, I need Arya so bad because I've never done it, you know?
Sorry, Blue. Don't worry about it.
Sorry, Blue. Sorry, executive producer Blue. Anyway, Saphira's a cockblock, and so Eragon leaves Blue bald, which is funny because his dragon is also blue, but doesn't have balls.
No. Saphira is a lady.
Triana does also offer, she's like, Eragon, you want to leave the
Duvrangagata.
Yeah.
Duvrangagata.
Wow. That does not look like words to me.
It is the ancient language. It's fine.
And Angela shows up and is like, yo, be careful with the elves. And Eragon's like, will do. And she's like, cool. See you later, boo.
Deuces.
And then she pieces out.
Yeah.
Honestly, Angela would be a good partner for Eragon. You know what I mean? She's honest. She doesn't treat him differently because he's a rider.
I don't think
She's
Angela is a good partner.
Why?
I think Angela is a solo team.
Nah, they can be solo teams together.
Sure.
I don't like Eragon and Arya together.
No.
And so like I'm hunting around looking for someone for him to be with. And I think Angela would be fun. You know, she's crazy.
Yeah.
But she's crazy in a way that like is kind of sexy. Look, I'm sorry. Angela going and poisoning, being like ballsy enough to go and like poison all the Imperial troops. I was like, Angela's hot. Angel's hot.
Sure. All right.
Kevin Elsington, thank you for super chatting to remind us that Jason Biggs did fuck a pie in American Pie.
Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate that. I've never seen American Pie, so I don't think that's what I was thinking of, but who knows?
Isn't Angela very old?
Yes.
I don't think she's that old.
Yes, she is. She's old.
I thought she was like 40.
No, she's old.
Oh.
Yeah. Angela is like
Weird.
her own mythical, mysterious being.
You know who I picture in my head when I think of Angela?
Who?
Charlize Theron.
Really?
Yeah. Like,
really?
Charlize Theron being like a kooky weirdo.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know why.
Wow, that is not who I would have picked, like, at all. Interesting.
Charlize Theron can do anything.
Yes.
She's, like, one of the most talented people on the planet. And I think that, like, her with, like, a big rat's nest of hair and her just, like, with, like, big glasses and being a little odd.
I pictured,
but underneath, like, really hot, you're like, oh, wow.
I pictured, like, Luna Lovegood.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Or, like, you know, like... no.
Touch the Garlic is like, so pairing her up with a teenager feels weird. The woman that Eragon's in love with is 100.
Yeah, like either choice is not great.
None of the women that Eragon is attracted to are age appropriate.
He
so
likes
I'm working with what I got.
Mommies. Yeah,
he has mommy issues.
He likes older women, just like Matt. Now crap. Now I'm like, who would I cast as Angela? And I genuinely, I'm like, I don't know.
Charlize Theron. I don't know that she would do a Disney Plus show, but like, if I could get her to do it.
Yeah, no, I don't know about that. I was pictured Ruth Negga, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I have not seen
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. love Ruth Negga's Rutabagas.
Oh.
That's a joke from Don't Worry About It.
Oh.
Ruth Negga is fantastic. I think she would actually be great.
Oh, you know who would be great? The girl that we saw in fucking Sweeney Todd.
Annalee Ashford?
Yes.
Oh, Annalee Ashford would be a great Angela.
Annalee Ashford.
That's good casting.
I found it, guys. I found it.
Sutton Foster.
Also, fantastic cast. Are you kidding?
Sutton Foster being a fucking... They need to bring in some Broadway weirdos.
Yeah, because we're fucking weirdos.
Oh my god. Yeah. You know who would be a great Arya if they wanted her to, like, be a little older?
Who?
Laura Benanti.
Who's that?
She's a Broadway...
Why do I know that? Was she on Smash?
I don't know if Laura Benanti was on Smash.
That name sounds so familiar, but, like, I genuinely, like, cannot picture her in my head.
She's one of the funniest people on the planet. She did, like, there was a couple years ago, she did a video for, like, every Tony Award.
Oh, I don't know her, yeah. Weird. I know her name, but I don't know her.
Yeah, she's the best. I adore her.
Christina Ricci.
Christina Ricci. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I know Christina Ricci.
Ah, gotcha.
Don't worry about it.
All right, moving on then.
I wouldn't hire her.
They're leaving the Varden, Farthen and Eragon, Saphira, Arya, and Auric all head out,
and nothing happens.
Auric is like, "Hey, take this helmet."
Oh wait, yeah. Here, we're not there.
Be
yet.
my brother, and Eragon is like, "Well, damn, okay." He is now a member of Durgrim's Ingetum, which has never happened for a human before.
Yeah, so he becomes a dwarf.
That's not going to have consequences. Yes, he becomes a dwarf.
Yeah.
They get to...
in the process, they actually, like, cut off at the knees, so he's significantly
like
shorter as well.
Farquaad.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like Lord
My
Farquaad.
daddy was a miner, so he wasn't much around.
Oh my god. And so, yeah, they get to Tarnak. There's like a bunch of like native species to the Bior Mountains, and they're like the dwarves are riding these like goat things called Feldenost, which are like apparently very smart. And so they get to Tarnak, and then these people in purple robes walk up and they take hair and they put it on a ring and they throw it on the ground and they're like meh, 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 meh. And Eragon is like, well, that seems bad. Turns out it is bad. It's Aswelden Rakanuin, who is like...
I don't know how the fuck you're pronouncing these words.
Because I listened to the audiobooks so many times.
That's fair.
I genuinely, like...
we haven't talked about it. I don't know how you listen to that audiobook.
Oh, guys, David finally heard the Saphira's voice.
There are
Can
no
you try and recreate it?
Eragon! I have a pretty feminine voice, don't I?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Eragon, I'm so excited to be a dragon. We should do magic together. Eragon, don't fuck Arya. Eragon. The only person you should be thinking about is Maud the Werecat.
Oh, okay.
Like,
I don't know about that.
holy shit. It's what a fucking insane choice he made.
Yeah.
To make Saphira sound like she is literally gargling rocks all the time.
Yeah, it's great.
It sounds like Saphira has been punched in the throat just before she talks every single time.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's something.
We were listening to it in the car while we were driving yesterday, and I've never heard this audiobook before. And we had to stop. We had to stop the audiobook so I could be like, what is this?
Yeah, you were cackling. It was great.
It's such an insane choice.
I'm so used to it. I'm literally so used to it. It does not bother me. Like, yeah, but a lot of people hate the audiobooks for Eragon.
Yeah, because it's bad. It's a bad choice.
Look, like I said, I'm just used to it at this point.
It is like what I think an SNL parody of an audio, like if you showed me, and I'm sorry, I feel like I'm being very mean to the audiobook narrator, but he did this like 20 years ago, so like whatever. I'm sure he doesn't give a shit.
It.
He's probably heard it a million times at this point. But if you were to put on an SNL, and they were like, and now this is in the recording session for Eragon. And it was fucking like Danny DeVito was brought in to narrate Eragon, and he made this choice. And it just cuts over to Christopher Paolini, who's like the surprise guest of the week, sitting in the recording booth being like, he knows Saphira's a female dragon, right? And the producer's like, yeah, it's Danny DeVito. We're just going to kind of let him do what he wants. And it was like a funny parody sketch of making an audiobook. I would buy into the voice. That is the only scenario under which the Eragon audio voice for Saphira makes any fucking sense whatsoever, is if it's a goddamn joke. Okay?
It's a strong choice. Strong choice. A swing and a miss, maybe. Learn German and get better audiobooks. Yeah, let me get on that real quick. Just learn German.
No, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that Clarissa and I are going to re-record the Eragon audiobooks. And I'm going to do all the narration and all the, like, other characters. And then Clarisse will jump in as the voice of Saphira.
I don't think I have a good voice for Saphira.
It would just be your voice.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, when I hear myself speaking in, like, our videos and stuff, I don't know.
Look, I'm saying that...
Maybe I just don't like my own voice.
Which is fair.
It's not a good fit for Saphira.
I think it's a great fit for Saphira.
Well,
You're sassy and rude. You're demanding.
Thank
you
you.
think that you're right all the time. I think it's perfect.
All right, well,
Yeah.
I am a dragon.
You are my little dragon.
Yes.
And so anyway.
So
sorry.
Asweld Rock Annuin is like the Tears of Annuin, and they were like the best warriors that the dwarves had, and they all like perished in the fall. There was literally like one person and her couple guards left.
Yeah.
And so they hate Galbatorix
Well, no,
and
there's
the
one.
riders.
No, Annuin was the last, and then she died, and then this is the people who these are
her guards. The her, I don't know, 6 guards or something. There was only a couple of them left.
Just get vamped up.
Just get vamped up. Shut the fuck up.
I still can't believe you said that, and then tried to be like, no, it's like a vamp in music.
The chat was defending me.
When the vamp builds.
Chat was defending me. It's fine.
It's not how vamps
they
work.
lost everything to Galbatorix, so they're like, fuck you, Eragon.
God.
Fuck the riders. Fuck dragons. We hate you all.
Yeah, fair.
Pretty much. And so instead of exploring the city, the next day, Eragon goes to the temple. And he gets, like, educated on the dwarves' like, history and religion, because now he's
the
a
Rings
dwarf.
of Blood feud, we should say that.
So, yeah. It's, They are, like, announcing to the world that they will oppose Eragon in every single thing he does. Eragon wants to take a shit, they're just gonna shove it right back up there.
So, the Eragon, like you said, he goes and learns the dwarves' history and their religion.
Yeah.
And then Arya shows up and is like very aggressively anti-religion.
Yes.
She's
like, wouldn't your money be better spent helping the poor?
I was like, Arya, are you me?
Yeah.
What the fuck is happening?
Arya, I like relate to you, but she has like no fucking shame. She just walks in there and is like, you guys are dumb.
It's time for my yearly fight with the priest.
With the priest. Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, Arya is me in high school.
Yeah.
Just arguing with the mother superior of my high school.
100%.
And nearly getting expelled for it.
Yeah. As an atheist, I agree with Arya, but also she's pretty salty.
But also, like, later in the book, Eragon is like, Ormus, don't you guys, like, believe in gods? And I'm
Ormus is like,
do you not? But I was like, Eragon, do you not remember watching Arya just, like, try and rip the hide off of that fucking priest in front of you?
Maybe he thought that was just, like, an Arya thing, you know?
Narafin says this is Richard Dawkins' early 2000s atheist movement. Yeah.
I mean, pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much. So they fight. Eragon gets a necklace that makes him not be able to be scryed by people. And Eragon also learns that Arya has not been home to see the elves in 70 years.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, because he also learns, like, shortly afterwards that she's 100. So,
yeah.
She's lived with humans more than she has with elves. He also is like, hey, Arya, what does my sword mean? And she's like, misery.
Good book.
It's actually The Business of Misery.
What?
I'm in the business of misery. No, that's not a song, you know. Okay,
no, Misery is a Stephen King book.
Oh, is it? I don't know.
Yeah, it's about an author who crashes his car, and then he gets taken in. His legs are both broken, and he gets taken in by this woman, and she forces him to write another book in his big series for her.
Okay, so yeah, I went Paramore, and you went Stephen King, so we went completely opposite directions.
And so they're like, all right, we're going to leave. It's going to be dangerous, so let's be very sneaky and leave quietly so that nothing happens. And then nothing happens.
Nothing happens, they're fine.
And then nothing happens again.
Yeah,
and they just like, kind of like continue to travel with nothing happening.
Sing a song.
And then they're in Dweldenvarden.
Oh, the one dwarf has got, I can't remember what they're called in Dwarvish, but the Fists of Steel. He has, like, literal metal spikes inserted into his knuckle bones. Mm-hmm. Pretty badass. Eragon scries Roran, and he's like, oh, Roran's fine. And then he has a dream about a man falling on a battlefield that's, like, burning. And there's, like, a hen in the foreground pointing at a body. And he's like, that doesn't feel like a normal dream. Very strange. He does, like, talk to Arya about it, and she's like, yeah, wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff. And that's, like, basically her explanation. Yep. She's like, we don't get time. It's weird. Weird how that works.
Or gives Eragon a puzzle that he can't solve because Eragon, not a very talented riddler. Very he never placed very high in Carvahal's annual riddling competition.
Yes. Yeah, not good at riddles, which, fair, I understand.
Do you think that Brom was just crushing everybody in that every year?
Brom is the one who wrote the riddles.
Brom is just shitting on everybody. Like, it's the only thing that he got hard for in the last, like, 15 years of his
the
life
riddling contest?
was knowing that once a year he got to fucking out-riddle the fucking idiots of Carvajal.
Oh my god.
And that's what he jacked off to.
Just humiliating teenagers? You might want to rethink that one.
I assumed there would be adults involved.
Do adults riddle?
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Honestly, Christopher Paolini, we need more about the riddling competition. I think
I'm with Joe in the chat.
the world building of this world is
we need this riddling
really
contest.
lacking because we didn't get more information about the annual riddling contest.
Yeah, I need to know.
Can you show me? I want to know about the riddling contest.
Orc also shows Eragon like a bow that's made out of Urgle horn.
Yeah.
Wild. And then Arya kind of gives Eragon like a Cole's notes of their elven etiquette, and is like, "Don't offend people because
every conversation
forever.
must start with, "Hey, I want to talk to you.
No,
I would like to talk with
every
you as well.
conversation starts with,
I would like to talk with you with honor."
Atra esternion Thalduin. That is the greeting.
Yeah, I was saying that, but in English because our show is in English. So if you want to do a show in the ancient
Sorry,
language,
what is it in English?
I want to speak with you.
That's not.
And then I'm down to speak as well. And then, oh, you're an honorable person, so I'm going to speak to you with honor. I really hope elves wash their hands because they're touching their lips constantly.
That's only like a field. Like that's not. They don't do that every time.
The third one is occasional.
The third line is occasional. They're not touching their mouths all the time.
Yeah, they are.
Not every time.
Yeah, no, they literally are. Even Veyrin or
Vannon?
Is his name Vannon?
The mean one?
Oh my god, it's the horse thief from fucking Wheel of Time. He did survive the last battle.
Vanir. Sorry, it's Vanir.
Vanir.
I was
You
like,
said
no,
Vannon, and I was like, what?
No, I was like, that can't be it. Vanir.
Even when he's pissed at Eragon and leaves the fight, he does it.
Yeah, but
before
he
leaves.
does this. Basically.
No, they're touching their mouths constantly, and like...
I'm sure they keep good hygiene. Literally, Oramus is
I
like,
don't
Eragon,
know.
you need to bathe every fucking day before you come here.
I know, but I don't know that they wash their hands, and I'm worried that like COVID could pass through that community so quickly.
Oh my god, it's open air. They don't like. They're never
they're
inside.
fucking. You know they're fucking. Like they're sleeping. They literally elf culture is that you mate for however long you want, baby.
Well, and they must have great like protective measures because nobody has children. Like they are able to decide if they want. Like no one like accidentally gets pregnant.
Oh, I thought it was all occasional pregnancies. And like that it was very I thought it was just very hard for women to get pregnant in the elves.
Oh no, they're like they like rarely have children because it's considered the like highest form of love.
Oh, I thought they were like struggling. That's why they
No,
weren't many
I don't
kids.
think that they're like less fertile. I think that it's like a choice.
No,
They're just
Shadowling, they're super infertile. Yeah, I think they're like literally in decline.
Oh, I always thought that it was like a choice. They were like, no, only a couple people will have children because of what it means for our society and because we live forever. Otherwise, there'd be way too many fucking elves.
I don't know. I think that a lot of those elves are shooting blanks.
I did not.
And I think that there's
realize.
a lot of like dusty, cavernous elf uteruses that are just like unused.
Wow.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing. If
I just
elves
thought they
share
had
any
great
sort of
birth
biology
control.
with us, right?
Uh-huh.
Women have a certain number of ovum in their bodies.
Uh-huh.
That does not change over the course of their lifetime. You do not develop more.
Right.
So like
the
at
elves,
a certain point, you'd run out of ovum to produce.
Right, unless they're like really full. All the elves have really wide hips because they just like
They're
have a
really
bigger
full?
store. Yeah.
A bigger store.
Yeah. Bigger storage.
I would like to buy one ovum, please. Ah, yes, come into the general store. Let me put my feet up in the stirrups. Let me just reach in there with the magic words and pull one out for you.
No. All the elves have like childbearing hips because they need more room for their eggs.
They're so live, but except for their hips. They're all like built like a fucking Kardashian.
Yes. Mirani, yes. So the elves and the dragons and the humans, it is said in this book, are like all interconnected, and because the dragons are like almost extinct, that yes, the elves and the humans are suffering because of that. We're just being goofy.
Yeah, they can change their body to whatever they want. That's true. Maybe they can magically give themselves more eggs. Do you think that like an elf lady is on a date, right?
Uh-huh.
And she's with a guy who like she hasn't really figured out that relationship, and she's like not ready to have sex yet, right? But he's kind of like hinting that that's what she wants, and she wants to let him down easy. Do you think that she could cast a spell to start her period so she could be like, I would love to, but like I'm bleeding?
Maybe, but like elves might
brain,
be
big brain
different
move.
enough that like they don't have periods, because elves can change their body exactly how they want to be. And God, if I could do that, I'd get rid of it. Fucking get rid of it.
You'd get rid of your body?
No, I'd get rid of like having a period. Like I would sing myself a song and suddenly I don't need to bleed.
But it's good for your hormones.
I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
They'll sing their hormones.
Um,
I don't know. But it's literally established that elves can like alter their body in pretty much any way they want. They're like, some of them are like half animal.
Yeah.
So, periods? Nah, fuck them. They don't exist here.
They get to Dweldenvarden. They get to Elsmira. The dwarves have taken Snowfire back. The dwarf guard that went with Eragon.
Yeah, because they're going to get
Keely,
on boats.
Nori, Dory, Flory, Bomber.
Flory?
Scomber, Womber, Chumbawamba, Paramore.
Paramore?
AC/DC, Van Halen.
Paramore is canonically a dwarf, yes.
She has great hair.
Great hair. Yeah.
So they leave with Snowfire, and he's like, you fucking take care of this. This horse is the most important horse.
Most important horse in the world.
And so they ride with some elves, and they get there, and they meet the queen, and the queen is like, yo, what's up, daughter? And the audience is like, what? Arya's been a princess this whole time? I've never read a fantasy book before. This is so surprising.
And then he's like, wait a second, the prophecy, the fortune telling that Angela told me, that can't have anything to do with that.
I'm going to have an epic romance with someone of noble birth. Not to get too much into the rest of the series, would you classify their romance as epic? Because I wouldn't, based on what I know of it.
The scale of their deeds together are definitely considered to be like unepic.
Oh, no. But is their romance epic? Yes. Their non-romantic life together is epic. Would you consider them to have an epic romance? Because I truly would not, based on what I know about.
Well, don't spoil it for people.
I don't think that's a spoiler. It's a tease.
Yeah, there's dragons. It's very epic.
The epic non-romance.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying.
It is one of the things about these books that I don't think necessarily. It's kind of like the prophecy around Olivia.
Yeah.
Where you're like, I guess that kind of satisfies the prophecy.
I guess she kind of, yeah.
So the queen is like, yo, thanks for being here. Let's go introduce you to a dude. And he's like, a dude. And they go to a glade, and it's like, this is Ormus. And
they're like, first of all, you have to swear that you're never going to reveal this information ever. And they're like, well, that seems pretty sus, but we don't have a fucking choice.
And Oric swears too.
Yeah.
Oric's here the whole time. He's
Yeah.
mostly just getting drunk and complaining about being here the whole time.
Which, fair.
We might not mention him again. He's present.
He is there. Yeah.
And so he's like, oh my god, you're a dragon rider. And he's like, yes, I am a dragon rider. I trained all the dragons. I trained Brahm, and I trained Morzan, and I was there the day Galbatorix. I have all of the answers to all of your questions. I will now proceed to give you answers to questions in a random order that does not seem to really benefit your education that much.
Why?
There are ideas. Ormus keeps being like, we wouldn't really tell riders this at this point, but you've kind of figured it out on your own, so I'm going to tell you.
Yeah. He's like, because you need to know.
We're under like different circumstances. Mm-hmm. And some of the things that he says, I'm like, oh, you could have like not had the issue that you were previously struggling with if you had just told him this bit of information earlier, but you needed him to not have that information earlier so that you could have that little bit of struggle.
Yeah, but some of them are like lessons that Eragon needs to learn.
Yeah, and some of it's Brahm's fault. Brahm like straight up teaches Eragon magic wrong, and so Eragon's like idea of how to use like Ormus has to unteach Eragon before he can teach him.
In some ways, absolutely. But like God, the moment where like Glader and him like show up, like my first time reading this, I was like what? Like I lost my mind a little bit.
Oh no, it's a very cool reveal.
Yeah.
Glader's rad. Mm-hmm. Saphira being super horny for Glader is hilarious.
Yeah, and Glader's like, I'm your teacher. This is fucking weird. Stop it. Like,
How do you want to get through all the teachings? Because that's kind of all that happens here for a while, and there's not a lot of plot.
No, not a lot of plot, but we can talk about the things that are brought up and, like, what you find interesting, like, what works for you, what doesn't work for you, because, like, there's a lot in here. Although, we should mention that, like, you know, Auric is like, why the fuck are you hiding here in the forest? Mm-hmm. And Glader's like, I'm missing a leg, and Ormus is like, I have, like, a disability with magic and can barely, like, do anything. And Auric is like, yeah, oopsie, sorry. Like,
Gabatorx would kill me instantly.
Instantly.
And Shuriken is the size of a city.
Yeah, so. It's more important that I'm here to teach the next person and not just go out in a blaze of glory.
Well, I think it's interesting that that it kind of is brought up that, like, maybe Eragon's role is to do what he's doing, right?
Yeah.
Is that, before he gets healed, Eragon does kind of struggle with the idea that, like, maybe my role in all of this is to be the next Oramus, not to be the hero of the story. And he really struggles with that. And I that struggle is very interesting to me.
Yeah, because, like, we're obviously reading about Eragon, and so we understand him to be the protagonist, but there is a point in his life where he's like, I don't think I'm the main character.
Eragon is given some tasks. One is to study the forest. He gets very into ants in a way that Scott Lang would be very proud of.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Hank Pym would be loving this guy.
Ants, we love ants. Yeah.
Ants.
Yeah.
Ants. 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 Does anyone know what I'm referencing? Do you know what I'm referencing? There was an insane commercial for Ant-Man. The first Oh, wait, we can't talk about that. Fuck. Strike.
Fuck you, AMPTP.
AMPTP, let's fucking get a deal going, bitches. Come on now.
Yeah, it's time, guys.
They're meeting right now, so, like, hopefully today is the day.
Guys, today's the day.
I don't have huge hopes because the AMPTP are a bunch of fucking fucknuts, but
like, we can
today could be the day. Today could be the day where this bullshit could be over and I can just talk about shit.
Could be.
Anyway, so he examines ants. We learn about fairths.
Yeah,
which are cool.
Yeah. There's, like, stone that's kind of, like, it just has, like, a bunch of colors there, and you can just turn it into whatever you want.
Can you imagine the porn that you could make?
Oh God! If it was like what you saw in your mind's eye,
I would have. In my mind, bad fairths all look like AI images.
That's the AI. That's the AI.
But Eragon is so lucky that when he makes the fairth of Arya, she's wearing clothes.
Yes, he's very lucky.
He's so lucky that she's not just, like, fucking nude.
Just
and, like,
fully nude. Yeah. Well, no, because it's not necessarily, like, it's not, like, a purely sexual attraction. Like, he definitely has, like, he is interested in her as, like, a person. But yeah, there is a moment where Eragon and Sphere get to, like, Dweltenvarn, and there's, like, the singing, right? We kind of talked about, like, or we kind of glazed over, there was, like, a holiday going on, and their minds get a little bit fuzzy, and Arya has to, like, protect them. But, like,
yeah, because it's the fucking orgy holiday.
Yeah, fertility ceremony.
And Arya's like, I have to ferry.
So
I should be getting railed right now, but I have to watch over this fucking child.
Yeah.
And the other two elves are like, I know, we should be fucking everybody. We should be having the greatest orgy of our lives, and we're missing it.
They miss the orgy. But when they do get into the forest,
fucking weird.
Eragon talks about, like, how the elves are all, like, singing, and it feels like fairyland. And I was like, so wait, fairies exist in this world?
Or maybe they don't. Maybe fairies are stories in this world.
Yeah, like, where do fairies come from? And why does Eragon know what fairyland is or what fairies are? I need to know. These are the questions.
So there's a traveling troupe in Alagasia, and they do this show called Winx, which is a story about these fairy girls.
It's very popular.
It's very popular.
Winx, very popular.
It was much more popular 20 years ago, but it's still very popular today.
Yeah.
It's a lot. God, it's hard because there's not a lot of plot here, other than Eragon keeps telling Arya that he's in love with her, and she gets really upset about it because she's 100 and he's a child.
Yeah.
She responds the way Edward should respond in Twilight.
Yeah.
But Edward is a man, and you can't trust no man.
Yeah.
Especially around a young woman.
Yeah.
Apparently.
They learn yoga. It's called the Rimgar.
They do some yoga.
They do some yoga.
Yeah.
Eragon is like, why couldn't you just sing me the body that I need that's super strong and flexible? And Ormus is like, then you wouldn't know how to fucking use it. And he's like, all right, seems legit.
See, here's the problem. I like that Let's just get into
like
the healing, because before we do, Vanir beats the shit out of Eragon because he's crippled for like a month. Every day, he just beats the shit out of him, and is like, "I'm better than you." And Eragon's like, "I literally am disabled."
Yeah, like Eragon tries so hard, and Vanir's just like an actual asshole.
But he's
Eragon
so proud to beat up someone who is
seizures.
weaker than him and also injured.
Yeah, and Eragon is like, I think he's very young.
It would be like being like playing basketball against someone in a wheelchair and being like, "See, I'm the best basketball player in the world," and it's like, okay, dude.
Sure.
One of you has legs. What are you bragging about?
Yeah. There is a moment though where like Oramus does ask Eragon, like, why are we fighting? If fighting the Empire is going to bring about all this pain and suffering, why are we doing it? And Eragon's like, shit, I'm gonna have to think about that one. It's fine. It takes him a day.
Yeah, to come up with, because Galbatorix is a real bad guy.
Real bad guy, and we have to save the dragons.
But it takes him 24 hours. No shit, you were bad at riddling. If you can't come up with, we're fighting because Galbatorix is enslaving people and his agents eat people. When I was in a town, the first town actually, after I left my hometown, the first thing I saw was a baby on a spear. And Eragon's like, God, I need a day, Oramus, to figure out Galbatorix is bad. I was hoping he was going to come up with something deeper, but he doesn't really.
It boils down to saving the race of dragons. Like, that is what it is. It's like preventing the genocide.
It shouldn't. You should go with, they put a baby on a spear. That one is enough. Like,
sure, but babies will die if the two powers of the world are fighting one another.
In the war, yeah. But we shouldn't fight for a better world because the world will be difficult while we're fighting, but the world is already difficult. It's like we shouldn't try to change things because the process of change is hard.
And that's why Oramus asks him, and Eragon is like, oh shit,
that's not a 24-hour answer.
Well, but that's the thing, is like Eragon hasn't like actually thought about things. Eragon is not like the smartest guy. And that's why, like, he's an interesting protagonist, because he doesn't get shit right away. He's like,
because he's a mediocre riddler.
He's a mediocre... Guys, that is Eragon's defining trait, is he's a mediocre...
I just love that.
Riddler.
We were literally at a doctor's office yesterday, and I was reading, and Clarice was going in, and I was just chuckling to myself, and she's like, what? And I was like, Eragon, he doesn't place very high in the riddling competition. And she's like, what is wrong with you? I was like... Doesn't matter.
They also meet Roran, who made all the riders' swords, who does not make weapons anymore.
Honestly, Eragon should date her. She's hot.
She's so old.
I know, but like, if he's gonna end up with an elf, it might as well be the woman who's got the strapping back muscles, who's just like fucking cranking out the greatest metallurgy in the world.
All right.
I have a mommy thing, apparently.
I guess so, yeah. And then Arya tells Eragon a story about the Manoa tree to scare him off of, like, trying to date her, and it doesn't work.
Yeah. And apparently the Manoa tree is going to give him a weapon at some point.
That is a prophecy.
Not today.
Not today. He doesn't need one.
This is my favorite. Chapter 38 is called Resurgence.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what resurges here, but there's a storm, and Eragon's back hurts, and...
The back pain resurges, because he hasn't had one in months.
Oh,
yeah.
And Saphira gets her head stuck in a hallway.
Yeah, Saphira gets her head stuck in the stairwell to go upstairs.
We learned that Arya's favorite flower is a beautiful little black flower that you can talk to it, and it opens up, and it's blue on the inside.
Yes.
What else?
Eragon learns not to use absolutes. Oramus is like, don't say something that will either kill you or hurt. Like, like, be fucking smarter about this.
They figure out that the twins were evil because they lied to Arya about Eragon being able to ward himself against magic.
Yeah.
And so, very interesting. We realize that the Leatherblocka are adult Rizak. They're highly intelligent but can't speak, and they ferry their children around.
They're the magic school.
Which is my favorite part of today's podcast.
There's only those Razak left, though, in existence, so...
Eragon is like, I have renamed pain, and I call it the Obliterator. This was the most emo child bullshit.
Oh, yeah, I wrote a poem when I was 14, and I called it the Obliterator.
It's like the first song Green Day wrote that they changed the lyrics to when they got big, because they're like, that's actually...
This is kind of cringe. Eragon also learns that you don't need to use the ancient language to cast spells. Mm-hmm. Very fun, very useful. which
dangerous.
means you can get drugged.
Stray thoughts.
You can get drugged and forget the language.
But you can still keep their dicks soft.
Yes, exactly.
Well, that explains how Arya was able to keep their dicks soft
Absolutely.
When she was in prison. Then Eragon makes the Firth that pisses off Arya, and then he goes to her room to apologize, and he thinks the best thing to do when you go to someone's room to apologize is to snoop through all of their shit. Yeah. Is to literally go room by room and investigate everything they own.
He's just looking around.
He reads her diary. I'm like, Eragon.
It's her poem.
Eragon,
it's not her diary.
You are there to apologize to this woman. Stand in the doorway awkwardly like you're supposed to. You do not go through every... Unbelievable. Unbelievable behavior from this young idiot.
Yeah. Shame on you. For shame. Eragon is like, fuck this, I need some meat. And then kills some animals, and then is like, fuck, I can't eat them. Because I have, been inside their mind. And so, I feel weird about it.
What's wrong with the little stocking?
Well,
I mean, Nynaeve would agree with you.
True. Nynaeve stalks everyone.
Then Saphira and Glader fight because Saphira's like, I want you to fuck me. And Glader's like, no. And then Saphira attacks Glader for not fucking her.
Yes.
And then...
and so Eragon is like, apologize. And she's like, what?
You tell me to do shit all the time.
Yeah.
And the one time I tell you to do shit.
Yeah.
And then Eragon's been struggling with his back. He's disappointed. Everyone's disappointed that he's not great. And so...
He's not
We're
great.
going to get to your favorite thing about the book.
My favorite, is the Agadi Bloodrun Blood Oath celebration, where it's 3 days long. Eragon and Saphira are both tasked with bringing something that's not magical, but is something personal, some artwork to contribute to the celebration.
That they didn't make with magic.
Yeah.
But, well, kind of.
Well, Saphira's fire technically is magic.
Yeah.
But she still made it. Right?
Yeah.
She didn't cast a spell and it turned into a thing. She, lit the fire so hot and then licked it, and it was cool. It turned into a cool thing.
Yeah, she licked the molten rock. It's dope.
Yeah, and then Eragon writes this, poem about his, life up to, defeating Durza.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. It's really cool.
It's a little emo.
It's a little emo, but the
I
elves
also
are
love that the elves are really impressed by it, but previously he read it to Ormus, and Ormus was like, it's all right.
Well, yeah. Ormus is like, it's
Ormus
fine.
Is never
it's your
impressed.
very first thing. But, the reason that the elves appreciate it is because of its honesty, right? And Zanzadi is like, well, I think we now understand you better. Mm-hmm. And that's why I think that they're so taken with it. Yeah, it's not the most, elegant of prose.
But it shall go into the Hall of Records.
Yeah.
And then two hot naked ladies do a dragon dance, and their tattoo becomes a dragon in the sky.
Yes.
And then this... And
it boops him on the snoot.
Yeah. And this is where I have a little bit of a struggle with the book. Because on the one hand... This scene is fucking rad.
Yeah.
The way it's described, everything about it. On the other hand, Eragon kind of has all of his problems fixed magically for very little. He doesn't earn it.
Really?
And he's crippled in a way that is narratively very interesting. And he is healed before he is ever put into any danger because of it.
See, danger I can agree with, but I think that, Eragon earns this because he powers through despite having, 5 seizures a day. Right? Because there are moments where he, almost gives up. And Ormus is like, anything but that. Do not give up. Do not give up. No matter what your lot is in life, you have to just keep moving forward. And I think that Eragon earns this because he doesn't give up. If he had left, if he had not been at the celebration, if he had stopped his training, if he wasn't trying so hard, I don't think that he gets this moment. I think that this moment is to do what needs to be done, and because you are the person for this, and you've proven that by your sheer determination of will and not stopping despite being in crippling pain and being changed as a person.
I would agree with that if it was just that his back was healed. But it's that it is a magical moment where he is now has super strength, super vision, super hearing.
They make him an elf, yeah. So that he can stand up.
He has more magic power. He is healed of all scars, even the scars from Saphira on his legs. It's more of the like...
I don't think they like cherry picked, you know?
No, but it's not about cherry picking. It's about narratively. I think that it is very interesting for him to be struggling with his condition. And he never struggles through any actual like narrative tension through it. It is just a thing that he is like enduring in the safest place in the world. And I wish that before he had been healed, we could have seen, even if it was just like a moment in the woods where Eragon can't save Saphira from something, right? In Dweldenvarden. Just some narrative tension built into the fact that his back is a very real problem for him beyond having to endure it in the safety of the woods. And then he gets healed and he is just a different character. Right? Because Eragon post-back healing is a above par Riddler. Right?
Why?
He solves the ring immediately.
Yeah, but that's not riddles. That is because he can literally feel the intricacies of the metal and how it's put together. But that is 100%
my point, right? He becomes smarter. He starts to learn faster.
Learn faster. He learned everything at this point.
No. They're only there for like a couple more weeks. Is more intelligent after this, right? Like, it changes every aspect of who he is as a character. In a way that is fine. I just wish that he earned it a little bit more than like these two magic characters we've never seen before come in, do this magic thing, and then leave. And then he is functionally a different everything after this point. Okay. And I don't know what would change that. I think maybe if it was like something that Arya instituted, so at least it came from a character we knew.
But it's meant to be the dragons, right? The elves can't accomplish something like that. It is the dragons. It is the literal like ancestral like history of the dragons personified into this like visualization of their pact that and because they Eragon is like, I can feel this thing has a consciousness. It is not magic, but it is magic because the dragons are magic, and so it's I think it has to come from the dragons. I don't think there's any other source where it would work. Ours
Chef Core, thank you so much for the super chat. It doesn't bother me because despite he's becoming super everything, he still isn't anywhere near strong enough to beat the big bads. I think that's an interesting point. Yeah. Shadowling, thank you for that super chat. The issue is Palnini made his elves far too strong. If they were just immortal and very skilled in the ancient language, it would work, but they're also stronger, faster. So Eragon will always lose to an elf. Yeah, I agree with that to some extent.
Yeah, he kind of had to put them on par with them, because, otherwise.
And also the elves are better at magic, and the elves are,
Well, our elves aren't necessarily better at magic. They just have, like, an inherent magical ability to, like, sing.
While the elves in Lord of the Rings are, like, gifted, they are, like, you could see Aragorn and an elf fighting, and granted, Aragorn is also gifted, right?
He is Numenorian.
But, like, Gimli still has value in a fight next to Legolas.
Right.
He's not useless. Whereas, like, humans next to the elves are kind of useless.
Yeah, but there's not very many elves left.
Sure. Yeah. But I do understand that point. I just think that for so much of this book, Eragon is just sort of in like narrative limbo. He's learning, and it is interesting to learn about the world building because the world building is good.
Yeah.
But there's very little tension in it other than like I might be needed at some point in the future.
Yeah.
And his healing kind of comes in the safest place possible.
Sure.
And I think that if there was more tension in the moment, if it came when he needed to leave, and there was an element of like, and maybe that's what it is. I think that he's healed before he needs to go. And so he's healed when like, okay, now I'm great, and I can go back to training, and like, I don't know what it's missing. It's just missing something to take it to that next level of being deeper outside of the scene being very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Also, he just, I kind of don't like, in the final battle, he wears down so quickly because he's doing all of these things that like his super strength. So quickly?
He's fighting all day.
Yeah, but humans fight all day. He's not like,
and he is using his strength to protect like 6 different people. So he is tiring out. Like,
I'm not arguing with that.
Okay.
I totally understand that his like magical strength is diminishing, and I get that affects his body.
That is his strength.
We just never get to see. We never get to see his super strength change the tension of a moment. Right?
Well, and that's why, like, he's like, oh, if we were fighting when I was well rested, like, I would be faster and stronger, right? But like, the only reason Murtagh wins is because Eragon is exhausted by actually fighting all day.
No, but we don't know why yet.
What?
It's more complicated than that, but we don't know the reason why yet, right?
Partially, but like
no, but Murtagh isn't a human anymore. Like Murtagh is not a normal person. Murtagh is also.
Yeah, he has
I don't want to
some
spoil
help.
some reveals that haven't come up yet.
Yes.
But like Murtagh is not just showing up like he was.
No, but while Eragon is fighting him, he's like, oh, if I was at full strength, like I think this would like I think I could win this.
Yeah, maybe.
Because he has that, like, elf-like physical prowess. But, and maybe not, like, who knows?
I just think that it is a weird moment of we level Eragon up because we need him to be able to fight another character that we've also leveled up.
Yeah, that's how fantasy series.
But I wish it kind of came from Eragon a little bit more, or at least, you know what I think would help me? I wish some of it came from Eragon.
Okay.
I wish some of it was the thing, and some of it was him or
like,
Saphira.
If Eragon went into like a dream trance or whatever, and there was like a dragon there, and the dragon like tested him somehow or something. Like he had to earn the gift.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, sure.
Just some element of it to like make it about him a little bit more.
Okay.
Rather than it kind of feeling like the elves are like, we need to do something drastic because this guy's not it.
Well, the elves didn't do anything.
Oh, but they did.
No.
Yeah, they did.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, because it's two elves magic.
Yeah, they do this every year. The dragon comes to life and it celebrates them, but the dragon speaking to Eragon and doing this to him has never happened before.
But you can't divorce the elves and the dragons in that, right?
Well, yeah, this happens every 100 years.
But it isn't the dragons did it and the elves aren't involved. The elves...
I mean, it's
at
them the elves'
together.
celebration.
No, it is magic that comes from an elvish spell that ties them together.
It's not a spell.
No, but it is. So this celebration, right, is the like renewing of the vows of the elvish spell that tied dragons and elves together.
Yeah.
And so you can't like divorce the dragon magic and the elf magic from this moment.
Yeah, but the elves had nothing to do with this gift.
I don't think that is true.
How would they? They
because
don't even know it's
elves
possible.
That are carrying the dragon tattoo, right? They are a part of this magic as much as the dragon.
I think they're just the hosts for the consciousness and the tattoo.
But the magic doesn't exist without that, right?
No, so the dragons are magic. They literally are the embodiment of magic.
Isn't a real dragon.
Yeah, which is why it is magic.
But it is the physical manifestation of the connection between dragons and elves.
I mean, because the dragons are inherently like magical beings, I don't think that the elves had anything to do with this dragon blessing Eragon. Like they're like a conduit for the dragon to appear through magic and like bless Eragon.
I think that is like saying that like when a man and a woman give birth and the guy's like, I did that, and the woman's like, I did a big part of it though when I like was the conduit.
So you're invalidating your own point.
What? No, I'm not.
Yeah, if the guy,
I'm saying that the woman who carried it is involved.
Did nothing. The guy did nothing.
No, I'm saying the dragon is the guy in this metaphor.
The dragon is the guy. What?
Yeah.
No!
Because he delivered the seed.
No. In this metaphor, the elves are the man, and the dragon is the woman who actually gave birth and was pregnant for 9 months.
I don't know. I think it is longer term than that.
Yeah, Joe Berlin is right. We'll talk about this again in book 4.
But I think that I don't think this magic exists from dragons. I think that this is the magic of two races carrying a bond over generations, right? And that's what makes this possible.
Are magic. The elves only became magical because they linked with dragons, right? The magic comes solely from the dragons.
It doesn't matter. This is such a in the weeds, very silly conversation.
Arazu and Shadowling, I do want to say thank you again
for
those
super chats.
Super chats. I really appreciate it.
The guys delivered 50% of the software.
Sure, yeah. I just never read the I never like read it and thought that it came from the elves at all. So it is interesting to me that
I thought it came from the magic of their bond. I thought that like this was magic that came from the magic of the dragon rider bond. which is elvish magic that ties them together, right?
It's not it is dragon magic.
What?
The elves were not really magical before
It took
bonding
the elves
with the dragons.
8 years to make the spell. To say that they didn't do that part of it is not fair to them.
They came up with it.
You're cutting out the fact that they did the magic that tied them together.
But the elves being magical beings didn't happen until after that connection. Like, they did have a handful of spellcasters, and they did have people who work on it. But But
the bond between dragons and elves comes from the elves. They made the spell, and they cast the spell.
They came up with
the dragons were not capable of intentional magic.
The dragons are the ones who made it capable. They wouldn't have had the
dragons have magic, right?
Yeah.
But they can't make it do things that they want it to do. They can occasionally do things, but it's not an intentional thing that they can do, right?
Saphira
and the elves brought
Brahm's tombstone.
I know, but again, like she said, she didn't know what was going to happen, and she didn't do that intentionally. She just put magic into it, and that's what happened. Mm-hmm. The elves brought intention and the ability to tie it together, and so by bonding them together, their magic's infused with one another, and they were able to bring more intention to the dragon's wild magic, and the elves were able to have more magic. Okay. But the elves, the dragons weren't capable of spells, right? And still aren't, right? Saphira's only capable of intentional spells through Eragon by giving her power to Eragon.
Well, I mean, she does. She
does
promise to fix Isidar Mithrim.
But this is just what's in the book, right? Is like dragons can't just use magic willy-nilly on whatever they want to happen. Elves can. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the difference. That's why the blending of their magic was so important.
Yeah, we'll talk about this more in book 4.
Arzu, thank you so much.
Super chat.
I disagree. I don't want it related to Eragon. The dragons need hope for the future, and this blessing is whatever desperate help they can give the last champion for their race. It's about them and their future, not Eragon.
Interesting.
I think that is totally a valid way of looking at it, and I totally understand where you're coming from. I just don't think it is as narratively satisfying an end to Durza's crippling of Eragon, right? I would like for Eragon to have to overcome something while he is dealing with that before it is magically wiped off the board. And I totally understand the why. The why is strong. It is that Eragon is never really in any danger while he is crippled.
Right.
And that, to me, I think is just a little bit narratively, less interesting because you give him this wound that matters so much, and you take away the wound before he ever actually has to deal with it in a scenario where there are stakes.
Yeah.
He only ever fights with his wound while the swords are blunted and he is safe because no one is going to kill him. He never fights on a battlefield with it. He never is in a situation where I felt like, oh my God, is he going to have a seizure before he solves this problem? And that narratively the value of a situation like this is you put your hero in a situation where I have to worry about him. Mm-hmm. And I never really had to worry about him because he's only ever crippled in the safety of Duwelden Varden.
Yeah, Eragon's not really in danger for most of this book. But I do think that the satisfaction comes from Eragon's journey and growth through learning while he's there and his perseverance.
Sure, yeah, and that stuff's great, yeah.
Yeah, which, for some people, that's going to be more important or less important than for you, having, the change come from Eragon and having to earn it or, being in danger.
I just think this book is, it's 800 pages, and Eragon isn't really in any sort of narrative tension until the end, other than Arya doesn't want to fuck me because she's 100. And so Roran brings all of the narrative tension to this book because he's the only one who's actually doing things, and Eragon is at risk of anything.
Yeah,
Eragon's never really at risk of anything. He's the kid gloves are kind of on, and it's a huge departure from the first book where he's always at risk. Mm-hmm. And so the first book has this energy of oh, we've got to get here, we've got to move, and then book 2 is we got to sit. Everything's fine. We're in a glade in a protected forest in the middle of nowhere and no one can get to us. So how do you feel about ants? I think that that break is interesting for the world building and maybe a little bit less interesting for the narrative of Eragon's plot.
I kind of love that the book is not afraid to take time to have our character grow and change, because Eragon learns so much throughout this and it's totally believable to me. There's a lot of fantasy series where it's they spent 2.5 weeks on the road and he became the best swordsman ever. And you're
I know, but you say that, and like in this one, Roran picks up a hammer and became the greatest hammer fighter on the planet.
Well, that's Roran's not like fighting anyone who's actually skilled.
I mean, he's fighting trained soldiers.
Trained soldiers. Sure, yeah.
I mean, they're traveling with the Razak. Like, I'm
don't,
assuming
fight...
they're trained soldiers. Yeah, they're not trained. I'm not talking about the ones in Narda. I'm talking about the ones that are like Galbatorix's go capture people soldiers.
Yeah, who like do end up capturing Katrina because the only way the Razak Roran do.
The soldiers are fucking useless.
The only way that Roran defeats them is when he surprises them, or when they put Katrina in immediate danger. That's and then he like lashes out.
He kills like 3 people at the edge of town. With a hammer.
By surprise, yeah.
No, they have the element of surprise in that fight.
Which fight are you talking about?
The time when after they erect the trees, right? And they've got like their protective barrier. Yeah. The one Razak is on the one side of town. He's like, "Oh no, it's a trap!" And then he runs over with Sloane, and he kills like 3 people with his hammer. And they had the element of surprise in that fight. And so it is an element of like Roran becomes a trained warrior with a weapon that is hard to fight swords with.
Oh, I just assumed a hammer was very easy to use. You just swing and it goes bang.
No.
Like you're not doing sword forms with a hammer.
I know, but swords are so much faster. And so you are at a disadvantage fighting a sword if you are not trained. Like a trained soldier with a sword is going to beat a man with a hammer who's never fought with a hammer before in his entire life. He's never fought a man before.
I think Galbatorix's training program needs some work.
Sure, I'm just saying that Roran takes out so many people so fast.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah.
He's Eragon's cousin.
And so it's the problem of, like, the book 1 spends so much time explaining how Eragon gets good with stuff, and then book 2 is like, and then Roran's just great.
Yeah, Yeah, but I do love that about, like, Eragon's story is that, like, there is so much growth, and it does feel believable for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
whether or not, you feel that way for Roran, that's different, but...
Mm-hmm. So Eragon becomes god tier, and starts to, like, scry things, and is like, oh, shit. The Varden are in danger.
Yeah.
Arya has already left.
Yeah.
Arya's at a council for war because she's like, I can't be with you, Eragon, you're a child. Which, fair. Like, yeah. Arya, fair.
Fair. Eragon also learns a secret where you can use energy not from your own body.
Yeah.
To cast spells.
Which you don't do because it's dangerous.
Spicy. Yeah. Thank God Galbatorix doesn't know that one.
Does he not?
No.
Oh, interesting. And, so they leave. And,
Blogden is like, you're like your dad. And Eragon's like, I beg your pardon. And then he flies away.
Yeah. Which is interesting because, it doesn't matter. We'll get into it in later books.
Yeah.
Spoilers. Eragon, goes to see Oramis. He scries Roran and he's like, oh, Roran's on a boat. Good for him.
With Jode? What the fuck?
Carvajal's been destroyed, and he's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
He gets a belt.
A belt off the wise.
And he gets some alcohol, some magic alcohol.
Yeah, the Oramis is like, this will fill you up if you need it. Don't worry. Don't ask questions. And he makes Eragon promise to return to finish his training. Yeah,
and one of the things we didn't really talk about it, but he learns from Oramis that he can infuse his magic. He can basically turn gemstones into batteries. And so he now has 12 diamonds and the ruby in the hilt of Zarok.
Yes.
To infuse with his magical powers.
Yes. Store energy.
And so remember that. Gemstones can hold magic.
Yes.
One thing that I wish Eragon tried, I wish that he was like, gemstones. Wait, Saphira, you look like gemstones. I'm going to infuse your scales.
That would be wild.
Or the spikes on her back.
Oh my god.
And so he goes to Oric and is like, hey, Oric, you want to fly on a dragon? And he's like, no dwarf has ever flown. Also, listening to the audiobook, Murtagh is Scottish. But Oric isn't. Which fucking threw me through a goddamn loop, okay?
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
Murtagh comes out, he's like, oh, Eragon.
No, that's Oric.
We've got this. No, in the audiobook, Murtagh's the Scottish one.
Oh, you were just talking about Oric.
No, but Murtagh comes down and is like, we've got the same father, Eragon. And I'm like, is Galbatorix
if you could change your fate.
If Galbatorix isn't Scottish in the audiobook when we get to him, why is Murtagh Scottish?
Couldn't tell ya.
Why is Saphira fucking
yeah.
fucking Dormammu?
Sylvia, he does not realize that the ring contains energy yet.
Shh, Sylvia.
Spoilers. But yes. That ring is going to be useful.
The spoilers. Spoilers.
I'm sorry, my bad.
What? They fly. Auric is the first
Morzan
dwarf.
is Scottish.
Morzan must be Scottish, yeah.
I guess, yeah.
His mom, or no, maybe Selena was Scottish. No, but why would she?
But then
She's from
Garrow
Carvajal.
would also have a Scottish accent.
But Morzan barely raised Murtagh.
You learn words when you're
You don't
up
like
to 3 years
keep
old.
your accent from 3 on if Galbatorix must be Scottish.
Must be
Which
Scottish.
implies that like only the people of Urbane are Scottish and
Love it.
everyone around the capital
They're the
isn't
fucking
for some
Scots.
reason.
Yeah. Honestly, the Urgles should be the Scots, just running around in kilts.
So, Eragon flies to Serta in like a couple days because Saphira's big now. And
they get some wind that helps them along.
The Vardens shoot at her.
Well, to be fair, they go to Serta first, and they're like, they're not
Serta.
here. They're not here. You have to go to the Burning Plains, and then they fly to the Burning Plains.
No, but we
and the
can't
Vardens
skip
shoot
over
at
that.
them.
No, the Varden shoot at him at...
The Varden are not in Serta. They are at the Burning Plains.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
have it backwards. So they go to Serta, and they meet a guy who's like, oh, they're probably here. And he's like, okay, cool, I'll go there. And they go there.
They're like, oh my god, dragon! Shoot arrows. And Eragon is like,
guys, great work. Let's, maybe next time, like, check the color of the dragon.
Yeah, take a second.
Mine's blue.
Yeah. This is Saphira.
Shuriken's black.
Yeah.
But we're not, he's like, we're going to have them all drawn and quartered. And Eragon's like, no, we need literally
like, it's fine.
Everybody.
Really, like, I'm okay. I also love the one name of the dwarf earlier in the book. His name is Shrugnein. And you're like, why is that a noise?
Yeah, and also Eragon can't pronounce it. I'm amazed that you can.
I've listened to the audiobooks.
As a dyslexic, that name is...
You're like, rude. That's fucking rude.
Letters.
Yeah.
What's up, letters?
Shrukin and Shrugnein. Same thing.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Why can't you just name things like One Piece? Where, like, Nami's mom is Belmare, which means good mom.
Wait, really?
Yeah, Nami's mom's name is
Good
French
mom.
for good mom.
Good mom. Love that.
Which I think is very funny.
So, the Burning Plains. Yeah.
He meets Elva.
Yeah, he's like, dude, I'm so fucking sorry. And
She's like, you fucking better be.
Elva's like, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna give you this information to torment you and so that you know how I feel. And Eragon's like, so I might be able to, like, I might be able to fix that.
I do appreciate Elva, though, because she's like, yeah, that's great if you can. Don't know if I buy it, but if you can. But, like, wait until after this, because I am actually, like, even Elva's practical about it is like, this is actually kind of useful at the moment, so I'll stay in hell for a bit.
Wait a couple of days. Angela delivers a monologue of insults, which is beautiful. And Eragon is like, yeah,
and Eragon is like, oh, maybe I should date Angela. She's kind of hot. I think Eragon likes being talked down to.
That actually explains a lot.
I think Eragon has a humiliation kink.
That explains a lot. Why he still pursues Arya after everything. And then he does take control of Duran Gargada. He's like, hey, guys, we're going to set up chain of command. You guys mostly do your own thing, but if you find a magician, let me know. I'll help. We'll take him out. It'll be easy peasy. Lemon squeezy.
And then the Urgles show up. And they're like, oh, fuck, it's wartime.
Yeah.
Sorry, what?
Nargarshvog is the Urgle.
Why do you know
the
that?
Because how many times do you think I've read these books? Do you think I was exagerating?
I don't know.
Stanley on a Theldwyn is literally how I greeted Josh.
Yeah.
And when we were in fucking high school. You know what I mean? Like,
God,
I was a
such
fucking nerd. I don't know what to tell you. Nargarshvog shows up and is like, hey, we fucking hate Galbatorix. Can we make, like, a pact? You kill him and you give us some land and we'll be Gucci. And Nasuada's like, okay, fair.
This is, without a doubt, the most interesting choice that this book makes.
Mm-hmm.
To not just have the Urgles be Galbatorix's army the whole time.
Yes.
Like, this is where... And we'll get more into the Urgles, obviously, as we learn more about them in the next 2 books.
Yeah.
But this is, without a doubt, one of the more interesting pieces of these novels.
Yeah, they come to the Varden and they're like, we were tricked. We were betrayed. Galbatorix and Durza literally twisted the minds.
I don't know if they were tricked, but they were betrayed.
No. Durza literally...
I know, but they were very much down for the war. It's not like they were like, we were peaceful, and then they convinced us to be warmongering.
No, yeah.
They were already warmongering.
Yeah, but, like, that's much easier to convince people to fight than, like, peaceful people, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's how the Urgals, like, gain honor, is through fighting.
Yeah.
And they're like, Durza betrayed us, we got screwed over, and we want revenge. Great motivator. And
I agree with Nasuada here. I think it's a really cool it's a real cool twist that takes this series away from some of the influences on this series.
Yeah.
It allows the series to stand on its own a little bit more, and I like that Eldest does a lot to separate from the very direct influences of the first book.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, and it also, like, does a lot to play into Eragon's prejudice based on the first book. Like, based within Paolini's own writing, right?
Yeah.
Eragon has this, like, very, like, black and white view of the Urgals and that they are evil until he, like...
Until they literally die for him.
Well, no, until he goes into their minds. And he sees that they are very intelligent. He's like, fucking Nargashvog's smarter than I am. I'm a fucking idiot compared to this guy.
You're a mediocre Riddler. And Nargashvog,
Eragon,
great
mediocre Riddler, okay?
Nargashvog won the Urgal Riddle competition every year.
Absolutely, he did. And so, you know, the Nasuada's like, hey, the Urgals, I want them to help protect you. And Eragon is like, no. But then he examines their minds, and Saphira's like, stop being a fucking idiot. And
well,
Eragon
but this
is like,
after,
right,
this scene happens, so first, Nasuada's like, we're gonna fight with the Urgals.
Yeah.
And then later that night, it's dark, and Eragon's like, what the fuck is going on between the battlefields, between the 100,000 soldiers and us? And it's like, what is Angela doing?
What is Angela doing?
And he's like, Angela, what are you doing? And she's like, no, shut up, I want it to be a surprise. And he's like,
shut up, don't ask.
No, I'm sorry, you have to give us more than that, this is suspicious. And she's like, but it'll be more fun if it's a surprise.
Yeah.
And then Nasuada comes over and is like, trust Angela to have these 3 cull with you. And Eragon's like, I don't want him. And Nasuada's like, Eragon, just shut up.
Yeah. Do what I say. I am your liege lord.
We're trying to have a little bit of fun with this fight, okay? Yeah. Shut the fuck up, dude.
Yep.
And that next morning.
Well, yeah, the messenger comes over and is like, all right, fuck you. Here's the head of your messenger. And Eragon's like, do I kill him? Nasuada's like, no. And then Saphira roars, which scares his horse so badly that he falls into a raging inferno that pops out of the ground and kills the messenger anyways.
Seems fucking hilarious.
It's great.
Don't kill him. Saphira's like, hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
Saphira's like, hey, Eragon, remember how you swore fealty, but I fucking didn't?
I didn't.
Fuck this guy.
Yeah, she does not give a fuck.
And so the next morning, the battle begins. It begins with screaming from the bad guys' camp because
in the night.
Angela poisoned everybody.
Poison.
And the fighting begins. It's bad.
Yeah, they're doing their best.
The Surdans are getting fucked up pretty bad.
Yeah.
They're overmatched.
There's a lot of soldiers.
Most of Eragon's retinue of protectors die.
He's like, not of people?
Yeah.
Well...
So all 3 of the Cull die, and like half the dwarves die.
Do they? I don't remember that.
Yeah, they're like falling. It's like not good because
it's going down.
Yeah, Eragon can't Eragon can't protect them as much because he's trying to protect the important people.
The only part that I remember about his guards is that like Eragon's about to get attacked and then his guards rush in and fucking murk them all instantly. And Nargashvog is like, "Good fight," and Oric is like, "Good fight."
And then Oric and Nargashvog make out in the middle of the battle.
It's really, really hot.
They have like a Mr. and Mrs. Smith moment.
Yeah. Very sexy.
But It's a giant battle, and like there's just fucking magic going on. There's mind delving. People are fucking dying like crazy. Yeah. Eragon's knocking out platoons.
Yeah.
And despite all that, despite all of the strength in the belt of Belthar the Wise, despite the
Bella,
whatever, I'm dyslexic. Despite the ruby in Zarok, despite the advanced tactics in the dragon armor, they are losing.
Yeah.
And it seems like all is lost.
Yeah, and so Nasuada's like, we need you to make a show of things. Mm-hmm. So they go out, they kill some people, and they see Hrothgar and the dwarves approaching.
Let's go! The dwarves are here. And then a red dragon comes down and immediately murders Hrothgar.
Well, first of all, they learn that the ship is on its way first. I just want to be very clear. They're like, Eragon, there's a ship.
Well, actually, no, a lot happens before the dragon. There's the ship, Eragon flies over, and is like, I'm gonna fucking kill these people.
And he's like, oh shit, Roran. Oh,
is that my cousin?
That's my cousin. Hey.
Yo, what's up, cuz?
Hey.
How you doing?
Make sure you get somewhere safe. There's a battle going on over here, so...
And Roran's like, no, I'm actually really good at hammering people. I mean, wait, that sounded wrong. I'm really good at hammering. No.
He fucked Katrina once and he thinks he's really good at it.
And I love that Roran is like, hey, I need you to take everyone on the ship somewhere else. I am going to go solo this army.
Yeah, he actually...
Don't follow me into battle. Yeah. I am a one-man fucking... I have fought 6 guards, and so I am ready to one-man army.
Put me in, coach.
And guess what? He is?
Yeah, he does good.
It's a ship filled with angry ghosts. No, this is actually the book version of Lord of the Rings where they collected people down the coast, not the movie version where they bring the ghosts.
Yeah, different version.
The movie brought the ghosts all the way to Minas Tirith, but in the books, actually, Eragon lets them out of their oaths earlier on in the story. So
that's fun.
That's one of the changes that Peter Jackson made that I think is fine, because the ghost going up the stairs of Minas Tirith.
It's a cool visual.
And honestly,
it looks cool.
The best visual of it is the ghost taking down the elephant.
Oh, the elephant? Yeah.
That is the best visual of the ghost.
Yeah, that's...
Strike. Fuck. Nope, can't talk about it. God damn it. What am I doing?
It's fine. Ryder appears.
The strike to be over!
A rider appears and kills Hrothgar.
Well,
like, pew pew.
Roran kills the twins first.
Nope, that does not happen first.
Never mind.
It happens
Roran kills the twins later.
Yeah, it happens in the middle of their fight. This is why I've read these books so many times. Actually. That's what I'm doing all day.
You need to go on actually, but it has to be only questions about Eragon because you don't know anything else.
Pretty much. I know a lot about Harry Potter.
And all the questions end up being about the Eragon movies. You're just sitting there steaming mad.
I would lose my shit. Ryder appears, kills Hrothgar. They boom, fight in the air, claw, attack, fight. Yeah. Eragon throws himself off Saphira and slices through the
dragon
leg.
is weirdly almost as big as Saphira.
Yeah, very strange. Strange. That's not normal. And then they fight, and then the riders fight, and Eragon gets his little booty kicked.
Yeah, then we get weak. Eragon's coolest move ever, where he jumps off of Saphira.
That's what yeah.
What?
Okay.
No, he jumps off of Saphira.
And slices the dragon.
And dives down towards the ground, because they're above.
Yeah.
He slices Thorn's leg, and then is like, Saphira, catch me! And she's like, what the fuck are you doing, you dumb fuck?
She's like, never do that ever again.
And then him and fucking this guy are fighting on the ground, because Thorn is hurt.
Well, no, he heals him immediately.
Well, he was hurt. He's not hurt anymore.
Yeah. This guy's super powerful.
He has so much more magic than Eragon does, somehow.
Super weird. And then they fight with their minds, and weirdly it feels like there's more minds in the one mind. That's...
Wonder what that means.
Super suspicious. Can't imagine what that would be.
I'm sure it won't be brought up in later books.
Definitely not important.
Or relevant to the ending of the series.
And so Eragon throws himself at the guy, and, their swords get, pinned between the bodies, and he, throws off his helmet, and surprise, it's Murtagh, because he did a little spinny thingy with his sword.
What?
Murtagh is there. Oh my gosh, and he has a dragon now. So
and then
crazy.
Then we get arguably... I wish that this moment was a little bit tighter.
Wait, really?
Oh
my god.
Well, Gavatorix told me I had to try and capture you, and I tried, so bye. And I'm like...
No, I love that because it shows that Murtagh, hates the situation that he's put in. He doesn't want to he'll do anything to undermine Galbatorix's hold on him. He did what he was told, only up until what he was told. And then he fucks off.
Yeah. That is what happens.
It shows Murtagh still is, wants to be a good person.
Yeah, it is just one of those... I understand that is the reason the book gives, but it does let Eragon off the hook at the end of this book.
What do you mean, off the hook?
Well, he's so overmatched after doing all of this training.
Yeah.
And then Murtagh lets him go.
Yeah.
And
Eragon loses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
And this is when they watch Roran kill the twins.
And Hrothgar's dead.
Well, yes, Hrothgar, yeah, that is tragic. But Roran is, like, sneaking up on the twins, and Eragon is about to, like, transport him out of danger, and Murtag's like, no, I want to watch this. And Roran fucks up the twins, and Murtag is like, yeah, no, fuck those guys. They were assholes to me.
I kind of wish that Eragon matched him a little bit better here, so that Murtag had room to grow, rather than Murtag just showing up and besting Eragon immediately. Like, I wish it was more of a, like, we're evenly matched, and it is it is more valuable for me to take this information back to Galbatorix than it is for me to, like, continue to try and fight you when we're just kind of, like, at each other. Because the value of Eragon's training with Ormus was, he's still not good enough.
No, he would have been good enough if he was at full strength. That's the point.
Yeah, no, and that's true too. I think that, like, the book ultimately comes down to, like, Murtagh comes, reveals a bunch of information, and then Murtagh, like, comes up with a reason to leave.
He's like, fuck Galbatorix.
When the day's won. Yeah, but, like, what are the oaths that he had Murtagh swear?
He
that
says he
Murtagh
has
can
to
fucking do what he wants.
He has to try and capture them.
Not what his mission was. What are his oaths to Galbatorix? Because Galbatorix knows his true name.
Yeah. Which means that he has, like, dominion over him. And is like, you have to try and capture Eragon's spirit. Because here's the thing, right? Mm-hmm. You word it like that because if that means, like, Thorn and Murtagh dying, like he would rather them escape and try again later than, like, die in the process in case he's not strong enough. So you try and capture them. And then Galbatorix is going to dive into Murtagh's memories and be like, oh, you fucking let them go. That's why Murtagh says, next time I will have oaths that, like... prevent that from happening again.
I just think that we spent an entire book training Eragon. Mm-hmm. And there's very little payoff of that, in my opinion. Really? I think that the fight ultimately comes down to... I think the fight ultimately comes down to a very similar situation to the first book. And I wish that it didn't. I wish that it played out differently than the end of the first book, where Eragon gets lucky at the end, that Murtagh's oaths have a loophole. Because Eragon literally only survives because Murtagh's oaths have a loophole, right?
Yeah.
And that to me is just like, it's okay. It's just that we've now had two endings where we've just kind of, like, thrown ourselves into a big battle that Eragon wasn't ready for, that ended with, like, Eragon getting lucky.
See, I find that so interesting for Murtagh and what that means for the next time they see one another.
It is more interesting for Murtagh than it is for Eragon.
No, it's not, because Eragon is, like, in a position where he's like, I have to kill Murtagh, even though Murtagh doesn't want to be in this position that he's in.
But Eragon is never in that position because he can't kill Murtagh. He is not strong enough and not good enough.
Well, not in that moment.
Murtagh is better than him in every single way here.
Only because Eragon is tired.
No, we know that that's not true. We know that that's not true.
No, at this point in time, it is true. It is. I'm telling you, at this point in time, it is true. Because I know what you're thinking about.
Eragon has less magic than Murtagh here. And Eragon is tired. But Eragon... Well, I mean, he has less magic at this point. It's the end of the day. He's used all of his magical reserves.
Oh, his, like, energy from his body.
But Eragon's physical body is not stronger, is not weaker because he's tired.
Yes, it is. That's the whole point.
No, he takes the energy from the horse so that he has his, like, physical energy.
He takes, like, a little bit to stop his limbs shaking, but that doesn't, like, replenish his whole stock of energy. Like, the energy used for magic is the energy that is used to literally make your body function.
I agree with practically incarnate here. I would argue that he didn't actually try to capture him since he would have succeeded if he actually tried. I agree with that. And I think that is kind of what I'm getting at. That's kind of my issue with it.
All right.
Is that Murtagh, it's kind of like the Aes Sedai, where the Aes Sedai get around their oaths by, like, believing that they're not lying.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, I know. But that's like lucky bullshit.
Well, no,
I want Eragon to, like, have, like...
If you were a blind person who didn't know that, like, this door was white, then I don't know that door is white, so I could be like, the door there is...
That is not the same as Murtagh winning this fight very convincingly, and then being like, I tried, I'm gonna leave now. Like, he's like, I tried until I didn't want to try anymore, is weak. And I think that Galbatorix would be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? No.
Well, yeah, Galbatorix gets pissed. And Murtagh knows this. He says, next time I see you, I'm not going to be able to let you go again because Galbatorix is going to know exactly what happened. And that's why Murtagh literally puts himself in a position of harm to let Eragon go. He knows him and Thorn are going to be punished for this. He knows the king is going to know exactly what happened because the king has control over his real name. Like,
I think it is more interesting for Murtagh than it is for Eragon, because I think that the setup of it is that this book ends very similarly to the first book, and I don't think that Eragon's training changes how Eragon approaches that battle very much. And I wish that it did. I wish that I got a grander sense of Eragon training with Ormus for all of those months. And I think that it would have been maybe just that if the Varden weren't getting their asses kicked before Murtagh showed up. And if Murtagh showing up had switched the tide of that battle more, because it should, I think that that's what maybe it is for me, is that despite everything he did with Ormus, Eragon still is losing. And Eragon and the Varden are still losing, even if Murtagh doesn't show up, right? They're still getting their asses kicked. And I'm like, well, then why did we spend 6 months training if, like, it doesn't change these fights, right? And then Murtagh shows up and it's like, oh, you thought you were about to win. Nope, Murtagh's here, you're fucked, right? Then that shows that Eragon has changed and Eragon's position within the Varden changes their fate. But it is another time where the Varden are fucking getting wiped out, and then there is a lucky thing that happens and the bad guys just leave.
And see, for me, that really sets the stakes of the situation, because Eragon's like, I still wasn't able to do what I was meant to do. I need to figure out how the fuck to win. I need to figure this out, because I lost. We nearly lost. Like, we have been lucky so many times. We have not succeeded so many times. Like, I think that, like, the stakes of that drive his character for the rest of the series.
Yeah, they do. I just would like to see a point where our main character's months of training leads to him winning something. It's kind of the opposite of the Wheel of Time, right? Where, like, those characters are always so good.
Right.
Eragon, no matter how much training he gets, is just never really good enough for the situation. And that, to me, is just kind of like, okay, why did I read all of that training then? Like, what is the point of a book where there's very little narrative tension if at the end of it, when there is tension, it doesn't, our main character's ability in that situation isn't changed, or his outlook, or the way he approaches the situation isn't changed all that much from how he did the fight the first time, right?
I mean, it does feel different to me.
And that's fair. I can only talk from my perception of it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I can't speak to what your feelings on it were.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. I really like the fight with Murtagh. I think it is interesting, and I like most of their conversation. I just wish there was a better reason why Murtagh left than, like, I tried and I won, and, like,
see, I love
he succeeds.
That.
No, but and the problem is that he succeeds and then gives up. And I don't know that there's room in his oaths for him to succeed and then decide to give up after he succeeded.
They're not, like, tied up.
He kicked the shit out of Eragon. Eragon's fucked.
Sure. I mean, Murtagh is also fairly drained.
Sure, but, like, Eragon is fucked and he's surrounded by enemies. Like, all Murtagh has to do at that point is fucking drag him away. And that's why if they were evenly matched and Murtagh had to go get better and Eragon had to go get better, then, like, the reunion, they're both stronger. They're both more capable.
I just think it undermines the choice that Murtagh makes here he lets Eragon go.
I know, but there's magic oaths involved.
Yeah.
And so that's where...
It's like the Aes Sedai. Like you said, you can, like, fulfill your oath to the T. And, like,
I know, but it bugged me so much. It would be unfair for me to complain about it with the Aes Sedai for 2 years and then to get into Murtagh and be like, well, it's different here for me. It's the same problem I have with both things. They are similar, and I have a problem with both of them in that it ends on Murtagh making a choice about a magical oath that should be binding him rather than him making a choice because of what he wants to do, right?
But I think it's more interesting if it's what he wants to do. Like, when you take away all the choices from Murtagh, then the end of this doesn't, like, matter.
But that's what Galbatorix's oaths do, is they take away his choice. And so either Galbatorix has him locked in oaths that take away his ability to choose.
Yeah, they say
or they don't.
Have to try and
you can't say, like, Galbatorix has my real name and he controls my actions. It's not up to me. But then I also can make I can make choices.
Well, yeah, because Galbatorix isn't there.
But then what is the point of magical oaths?
You know what I mean?
He
has to try and capture him, and he does try.
But once you succeed, you can stop? Like, what?
No, he made the attempt, didn't actually capture him, beat him, didn't actually capture him, and then walks away.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's not my favorite choice.
This is one of my favorite choices in the series because it sets up Murtag's character so well, and I just feel so badly for him and the situation that he's been put in. Like, his life sucks, and there's nothing he can do about it, and he's just trying to survive. And now that he has Thorn, who can be used against him, like, he's in a worse situation because he has a dragon, and like that relationship between the two of them, like. We're, obviously the book Murtag is coming out, so we're going to get to read that. But I do love that part of the novels. Yeah.
Yeah. Jonathan O'Neill says the biggest payoff for the training was him realizing how little the other magicians are compared to him. Kind of, yeah.
He's like, I can see Galbatorix's perspective of just everyone around you are pawns.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he chooses to be different.
This is going to be fun. I don't really remember much past this point. This is kind of like the last big... other than the very end, like, I remember how they... I remember how it ends.
Yeah.
Kind of. I don't remember for all the characters. I remember Eragon and Galbatorix's ending.
Yeah.
With each other. And that's kind of it. I don't remember Eragon's relationship with a lot of people at that point. Eric Renge Madsen says, could Paulini have made better narrative choices? Sure, he could. But for the most part, this book holds together really well. Oh, I agree. I really like this book. I feel like sometimes we talk about things more because we're trying to work through how we're feeling, and it comes off as us being negative about them. Right. When it's more like trying to like get to the heart of how we feel. And I wish that came across more. And I know that it doesn't always, and I'm sorry about that. But for me, it's more talking it through rather than like criticizing. But I know that that's a weird line to draw.
Yeah, and also that comes down to you as much as like the other people's interpretation, and people are always going to interpret like things like tone of voice and like structure differently. So
yeah, I also think that Eragon as a series has a magic creep problem, in that the way that magic is introduced is very quickly superseded by magic items that take the power levels to this insane extent so quickly. And part of the problem with Eragon's journey for me is there aren't any little victories for him to have. And because he spends his whole time training this whole book, we never actually see him help anybody with magic. We never really see Eragon like do anything for anybody else until the final fight where the stakes are too high. And there's no, like, there aren't a lot of, like, ups and downs in terms of Eragon's using his ability to do anything. He is learning how to do stuff, and then he does stuff in the big final battle. But there's no other moments of, like, Eragon. And part of it is because Eragon keeps fucking up, right? And with Eragon spends most of his time not training, just trying to hit on this 100-year-old woman who doesn't want to date him. Mm-hmm. But he doesn't have a lot of, like, little moments. He doesn't really help anybody. He doesn't go out of his way for anybody. We don't see him...
I mean, yeah, all the elves can help themselves. There's not much he can...
He's surrounded by people who are more powerful than him in a place of safety for almost the entire book.
Yeah.
And so when he gets to the Varden, he trains the healers a little bit. Like, he teaches them some words to heal better.
He says, don't punish those guys that shot me.
But, like, that's kind of the only, like, wins that he gets. Mm-hmm. As a main character for an entire book, he watches Murtag get dragged away at the beginning and can't help.
I just think that his progress in learning is definitely several wins. Like,
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying in terms of him being active, he is just sort of like he's plodding through Oramis's teachings, which is not bad necessarily. It just means that ending the book on him still not being good enough. You don't get like, well, but in the book he also did these other things. That. But he isn't.
He says, and if I was at full strength...
That is a problem moving forward. Like, the plot of these books is that he's still not nearly good enough.
Yeah, but he says if he were at full strength...
No, he thinks so, but he's wrong.
He's not wrong.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is. Murtag would destroy him with magic.
No, he wouldn't. He will... He could later for reasons.
Now.
For reasons.
No, for reasons he can now.
No.
Yes. When he scries his brain... or whatever the word is.
When he touches his brain. I know what you're talking about.
Murtag can wipe the floor with Eragon in this moment of
No,
magic.
he can't.
He absolutely can. He still has power, and Eragon's...
No, Murtag also gets exhausted. He's sweating. Like, their fight lasts a long time.
Oh, physically, yes. But he can pull...
So you keep thinking that magic energy and physical energy are different. They are the exact same thing. It is just energy.
In a way, yes, but also no. They're tied, but not.
Yeah, you're gonna have to reread the next couple books. Because we feel very differently. Like, Eragon at full strength would have beat Murtagh here, but they played their cards right, and Murtagh waited until Eragon was already tired, so he could swoop in, fuck him up.
Yeah.
And are reasons.
Even though he won, he leaves.
Yes.
So that the next, but I think that it's kind of a like so that the next book can happen moment. And I just wish there was a stronger reason.
See, I love the reasoning for Murtagh. It works for me.
Yeah. No. I think that it would work for me more if we'd spent time with Murtagh. And I know that you want the reveal of Thorn showing up, but if we'd spent time with Murtagh so that we could like understand the oaths maybe and have some idea of what Galbatorix has sworn him to, so that we could see Murtagh's process of like how he gets around them. But all we know is that he's magically sworn to do what Galbatorix wants him to, and then he doesn't. And I'm like, okay, but why? Like, what is the loophole that allows him to do this?
He explained it.
No, but in the oaths, not in the mission, in the actual oaths that he's sworn, the loyalty oaths that he's sworn to Galbatorix, what allows him to have free will? And maybe we get into that in the next book.
He barely has free will, which I think is why this moment is so important.
But he does not barely have free will. He has a shit ton of free will in this moment to win and then decide at that point that he's satisfied his oath. That is an enormous amount of free will to allow someone to have.
I would disagree.
It's a pretty strong decision.
It's like a loophole, but it's like the only defiance that he can give.
But it is still defiance to a loyalty oath. It is a very disloyal thing to do. So if you've sworn loyalty to somebody magically, to be disloyal then should have consequences, but it doesn't. It won't have consequences until Galbatorix decides it does, which I guess is how like the oaths. I'm like, how does this work? And I think that maybe if Oramus and Eragon had gotten into oaths more, you could have set up this ending stronger.
I just think that, like, well, actually, Shafika? I don't know if I'm saying that right, so I apologize. But, like, I think that it also parallels, like, Eragon's wording of, like, the blessing that he gives, right? That, like, language and intent is so important.
Eragon doesn't know grammar at that point. But that's the problem. It is the difference between a child learning a language and Galbatorix, the magic man, who has run fascism for 100 years. He should not fuck up grammar. Like, if there's one character here, and here's the problem: he is the big bad of this series. We're 2 books in; we've never seen him.
And we won't.
Only action that we have seen him do in 2 books is send dumb fucking idiot Rizak after Eragon and spin oaths around Murtagh that are paper thin. So either Galbatorix isn't that great, or
I don't see how they're paper thin. Otherwise, Murtagh
wins.
Like, yeah, but Murtagh would have just fucked off then and joined the Vartan if they were that thin.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and we don't know what the oaths are or what the wording is, and so we can't really comment on it because we don't know. Yeah.
Sylvia wants to explain it to me. I don't know that it is explainable, and I think that that's part of it. I think it comes down to your interpretation of it, and I think that that's the difference that we're having.
Well, and because it's not explicitly said.
It's not in the book.
We don't know what the wording is. We don't know what the oaths are, and so we can't we can't know for facts one way or the other. But yeah, it is an interpretation of it, and that's
Yeah, and I do think, like, if in the first book, Eragon had beaten Durza and had a win at the end of the first book, and it hadn't been because of a lucky moment at the end, him having this loss wouldn't bug me as much. It is that both books end with a big fight where he fights the big bad of the book, and both of those fights end with a kind of lucky moment for Eragon. It's that they're both I just think it's a little too similar, the end of the Durza fight and the end of the Murtagh fight, where it just kind of ends on a it ends on a thing that Eragon doesn't do. It ends on something happening that allows Eragon to survive. And I wish that it wasn't 2 books in a row that kind of do the same final beat. And I think that that's why it bugs me more here. It's because it's too similar to the Durza beat. And I wish that they just had differentiated more from that. Like, give Eragon a boss here to fight and crush and show he's capable. That we kind of just see him wiping out regular people. And Roran gets to kill the twins.
True.
Who Roran has no connection to. He's got no reason to hate them. You know what I mean? Like, let Eragon beat the shit out of the twins.
Yeah, but that would be so unfair of a fight. The twins would fall over in the wind.
But it's the narrative conclusion of his training. Right?
I mean, I guess. They would just be so below his level. But...
Yeah.
Yeah, alright.
That's just how I feel. Sorry that was a long conversation about it. I just, that's... I don't know how I feel about it in a weird way.
Alright.
No.
Well, turns out Murtagh and Eragon are brothers. Surprise!
Yeah. Maybe. Probably.
Murtagh takes Zarok and is like, this should have been my inheritance, so I'm gonna take this. Fuck you. And Eragon no longer has a sword. That's not gonna be important at all later.
It's very funny to me.
Why?
Well, just that he ends up with a red dragon. Wait, did Galbatorix never show that egg to Murtagh?
No.
Why?
That is actually a question that I would love to ask Paolini. Why did Galbatorix not try and get the egg to hatch sooner? I think, and I think it is because, like, Galbatorix wanted Murtagh willingly on his side. Remember how he was...
Yeah, but that's easier when he's a child. It's harder when he's an adult. It's so much easier if you give a 9-year-old a fucking dragon and then you, like, raise him with love and...
The thing is...
Not love, but, like, you know...
It has to be the right person, so I don't actually... Yeah. How the...
But also, it doesn't matter because Galbatorix can just force the egg to hatch.
No, he cannot.
Yeah, he can. He forced Shuriken's egg to hatch.
He, like, forcibly bonded Shuriken to him, but, that's not...
But
like,
where did Shuriken come from?
That's not a real bond. If he did that... I don't know if he can do that to 2 other people. I think he did that with Shuriken and himself.
And there's no one to help him now to do it.
Yeah, like, I don't think...
Because Morzan helps him do that. So maybe he needs another...
I don't actually... I know Morzan helped him steal the egg. I don't know about...
He killed his original rider? Shuriken didn't have an original rider.
Oh, that's... Yeah.
Are we forgetting something?
Yeah, no, that's what it was. So it wasn't an egg that hatched. It was, like... like a brand new baby dragon hatched. Morzan helped them kill the rider.
That's
and,
what it is, okay.
He bonded himself to the dragon. So yeah, I don't think Galbatorix has a way to just force eggs to hatch. Otherwise, yeah, he would have fucking done that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So then we get kind of the aftermath of the battle. The dwarves are obviously in mourning for Hrothgar.
Yeah.
Auric is going to have to go back, and they're going to have to choose a new king.
Yep.
Hopefully it's someone who is sympathetic to Eragon and not one of the veiled
Ashwald and
blood.
Marganuin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, show off. Roran punches
Let me have
Eragon
this.
in the face.
Yes.
It's great. And then they go scry Katrina, and Eragon's like, I'm going to get your woman back.
Basically.
Because my woman doesn't love me.
Yeah, we're going to go kill the Razak, avenge Garrow, and get Katrina back for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yay!
That's the end of the book.
That is Eldest. Crushed it.
We crushed it.
Crushed it. There was... What was the one, like, thing that I wrote down? Oh, yeah.
Shuriken... Heisenberg says Shuriken has the most fucked up existence in these books. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
It is
Shuriken's life is...
tragic.
Horror.
Absolutely tragic.
He's also forced to grow too fast.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's
like
insane.
15 times the size of Glader.
Yeah.
Which will be forgotten about in the final battle, but that's fine.
No.
Yeah, there's a beat.
It's not.
It is.
No, it's not.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Right, we'll get to it. So do you agree with Artemis that logic is the most useful mental tool?
I know, Spock.
For a person?
No, of course not.
What do you think it is?
Kindness.
Like empathy?
No, kindness.
Kindness.
Yeah. It is the most useful tool in the world.
You think it's the most useful?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I think kindness has achieved more historically than anything else. And kindness lasts the longest.
That's very interesting.
I think that, like, genuine kindness is the most enduring thing humanity can accomplish.
Because it drives us to create.
It drives
things
us to create beauty. It drives us to create. I think that the patronage and family and love. I think that human beings will do more for love than they will for any other thing in this world. And I think that is rooted in kindness. Yeah, because I think kindness is the root of love, right? And that's why, like, when you have love without kindness, it's perverted and it's gross, and it leads to these toxic sort of demented relationships that damage each other. But when you root love in kindness, I think it's the most powerful thing in the world.
I love that.
Yeah, I don't think logic. You can be illogical and still change the world. You can be dumb and change the world. You don't have to be wise. You don't have to be strong. Like none of the things that you need to be to change the world are what we would consider like the strengths of a D&D character. Magic isn't the important thing. It's kindness.
Yeah.
And yes, look, evil wins periodically. Evil takes over the world, and evil evil can do a lot, right? Corruption, greed, they can always do a lot. But those systems always inevitably fall to groups of people who believe in one another. At every point in human history.
And you call yourself a nihilist.
No, I'm a nihilist about the world that we live in. I'm not a nihilist about humanity. I think as a race, we are generally pretty capable of incredible things. I'm a nihilist because I think that most people don't lead with kindness.
That's fair.
And I think that if we did, we'd live in a much better place, right? Like, I don't think that it's a very common trait for people to have. And I don't believe that most people are capable of it anymore. But I think that it is the most important thing.
There's the nihilism. Yeah, I hear you.
No, I do. I think that because of a variety of factors, we've sort of given up on it. And we have ideas like wisdom or logic or strength or... Capitalism, that those are what drive the world. And they are in a way, right? Like, capitalism allows for so much. It allows for the equipment that allows us to put the show out. But at the end of the day, like, it is genuinely kindness that changes the world. It's what brings people together. People will group up to love something far more than they will ever group up to hate something. And just because Twitter feels like the opposite, Twitter's not real life. The largest non-religious gathering on Earth is the Indiana 500, right? And it's because people just want to go watch cars drive in a circle all day. And, like, look, do I politically agree with a lot of people go to that race? Probably not. But do I think that I could probably go to that race and have a blast because it's 100,000 people showing up to have a great time? I do. I believe that. Right? And so, yeah, no, I think kindness is really the answer to so many of humanity's problems. I just also think that it takes a lot of bravery to show kindness to people nowadays. And we treat sincerity with such disdain. And we shy away from it. And we treat any sort of genuine emotion as being worth mockery. And then we wonder why we struggle to show kindness to one another. Look at our YouTube videos. Look at any video where I cry in a YouTube video and go read the comments. Go read what people say about me because I'm a man who cries. Yeah. Because I genuinely have empathy for the characters in the show that we're watching. Yeah. Like, the idea that my genuine empathy for those characters is worth mockery is the issue that we are facing as a humanity right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's why I stay out of politics online, because my opinions are very strong and I would get in trouble.
Well, yeah, that's a whole other thing. Yeah. Yeah, I loved that. Thank you for that.
What do you think the most important thing human... What was your question? What was the wording of it?
The most useful tool, mental tool for a person to possess. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, I think the key word is useful. Yeah. Because, like, is kindness the most useful thing to achieve what you want? Maybe not always, and that sucks. Like...
Well, if you're going always, then fucking... Well, yeah, then... A gun is the most useful tool.
It's not a mental tool.
Sure, but I'm saying, if we're talking about if we're talking about the tool that will get what you need done in the most situations... then a gun is going to be the most useful tool.
No, it's money.
Yeah, that's true.
It is money. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly...
And that is the problem.
Yeah. And I don't feel like I have, like, one strong answer like you do because I think like honesty is very important. Is it useful? Sometimes absolutely not.
Fair.
I think it's very important to be honest with people, and sometimes that sets you back. Sometimes being honest is the opposite of useful. But like again, that stems from like the kindness of like showing someone honesty. And you mentioned also being brave. It's like you have to be brave to show that kindness. And so then maybe is bravery the most useful thing? Maybe. Like, I think someone could argue that.
But I think that we need bravery to show kindness because we have strayed so far from being kind. And
Whereas
I think
if we
that, like,
hadn't, like, it wouldn't.
I think globalism is a huge part of that. I think it's very harder. I think that humanity is in a place of struggling. I don't want to get into international conflicts right now just because of the state of the world, but we are struggling with the ability to be so on top of each other as a race on this planet, and there's just too many of us. And I think that the cynicism and the fear and the xenophobia in the world right now, I don't have an answer to it because of there's so many people. Yeah. And we don't know how to deal with like our population size.
And every single person is different.
Yeah. And you know, there's real like deep wounds of xenophobia that go back so many generations. And it's really hard to come up with solutions to those problems. And yeah, so I think we need bravery because of the position we're in. But I think that like when we were in the position of like Algasia, where like it's mostly towns where you spend time with the same people, I think it's a lot easier to show kindness in that kind of situation. And it's harder now in the world we live in.
Yeah,
especially because you can't trust so much of what you see online. You know.
Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah,
that was a good discussion. Crushed it. I love this book. I love this series.
I really enjoyed this one.
Yeah. Now we're gonna go read Brissinger.
Yeah, we have to start because I read until 4:00 in the morning.
Yeah,
I wonder if I would have enjoyed the ending more if I wasn't so tired when I got to it.
Well, maybe, and that's fair. But we accidentally kind of like overstuffed our plates
a little bit
for this week. That's okay.
If you're in Toronto, come by Off-World Bar tonight. We're going to be hosting the Halloween costume contest at the bar. We're very excited to be guests of that party.
Yeah, it's going to be a hell of a good time.
I'm going to go nap until then.
Thank you for being here for Book Club. Shall we do high-low?
Oh, yeah. This is a thing that my family did growing up, where we'd sit around the dinner table, share our highs, and commiserate over each other's lows so that we could bond. Now, Clarus and I are married, and so we're trying to keep our marriage healthy by saying our high lows about books that we both enjoy.
Yes.
Clarus will do her high, I'll do my low, she'll do her low, I'll do my high, because we like to compliment sandwich this biche.
Hell yeah.
Clarus, what is your high for Eldest?
You get one guess.
The Duranger Gata. No, what's it called?
The Agati Blodrin.
Same thing.
Not the same thing in
same
the
words.
slightest. The Blood Oath celebration, where the moment where Eragon's back gets healed, this beautiful visual. I have a hard time visualizing things, and this one has always stuck with me ever since I read it as, like, I don't know, a 14, 15-year-old. Beautiful. Not just because there's naked ladies in it. I promise it is more than that. But this moment, this moment is my favorite moment in this series. It means a lot to me. That's my high. What's your low?
It's tough. There isn't like a low in this book. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, I think that this isn't my favorite book in the series. But it is generally very like the lowest are like the middle. You know what I mean?
Right. There's no like yikes in this book.
And like there's choices that I wish were stronger choices, but they're still not bad.
Yeah.
Right? Like even like your high, the Blood Oath is I wish that it was like narratively different.
Yeah.
Or narratively just a little bit more meaningful for Eragon, but it's still such a well-written scene and I love the way it's visualized. Yeah. So like I don't know. For my low for me, I think is like Nasuada. Her the way she talks about Elva. I just find it weird.
Okay, interesting.
You know what? My low is just Eragon's
with Arya.
Yeah. I don't know that I necessarily think it's the best handled story in the book.
Really? I think it's like appropriately messy.
I think that I don't like it happening again because magic.
Oh, like the moment in the celebration where he's like, "No, I love you." And yeah. And you're like, "Okay, we fucking get it."
Because we get like the Firth moment.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of get it multiple times.
Yeah.
And then him like stalking through her room while he's there to apologize. It was just very weirdly written to me. Like that actually might be that's probably my low. Now that I think about it, it's the scene where he's like there to apologize and he goes through her shit.
Yeah.
Feels just very strange.
That is also my low. So, yeah. It's a weird one. Like I could understand him like walking over to like leave the flowers.
Yeah.
And like he like peeks and sees like you know when you look at something and you catch a handful of words on it and you're like, oh, like, but then you look away because it's private. And
but he specifically like goes through her living room to her bedroom. Picks that up off of her nightstand.
Oh, I didn't think she had a living room. I thought she just had like
he goes through like multiple rooms in her house. He like
no, Tildari Hall is like the castle.
Yeah, no, he like goes through multiple rooms once he's in her place.
Really? I don't think I'm not
sure
about that. Can I
even find it? What chapter would that be?
I think he like walks in and he like is like, wow, a glimpse of her life. And that's the thing. If he had like seen the paper, caught a handful of words, and was like, "Okay, I'm gonna leave these here and then leave," that'd be less weird.
Because I do think it is actually more than that. Can you find the chapter while I?
Sure. It's after the fair. The image of perfection. Oh, okay. Chapter 46, the beginning of wisdom. Is when he goes to her room to apologize. Yeah, like, he snooped a little bit. He definitely could have, like, been less snoopy in that moment. But I never thought he, like, walked through, like, all of her rooms to find her, like, bedroom.
Okay, but this is where it gets creepy. The screen door was open when he reached her chambers. No one answered when he knocked. He stepped inside, listening for approaching footsteps as he glanced around the spacious vine-colored living room, which opened to a small bedroom on one side and a study on the other.
Oh.
2 fairths decorated the walls. Eragon wandered through the apartment, looking but not touching, savoring his glimpse into Arya's life, gleaning what he could about her interests and hobbies. By her bed, he saw a glass sphere. On her desk, neat rows of scrolls.
Yeah, okay. He snooped. He fully snooped.
And by the trees, a scrap of paper with an unfinished poem. He went through all of her shit.
No, you're right.
Like, he went through everything. It's creepy and weird.
Yeah.
And he's there to apologize because he already did something wrong to her.
Yeah.
If this was the thing that he did wrong, and he came back to apologize later, it would be understandable. But this is his apology.
Yeah.
This is like a fucking YouTuber apology. He pulled out the ukulele and was like, I'm sorry, Arya, but I still want to fuck you. I'm sorry, Arya, but your breasts are so nice. I'm sorry, Arya, but your ass looks really hot. I'm sorry, Arya, do you want to marry me? Wait, fuck.
I fucked up this apology.
It's the YouTuber. He YouTuber apologies it by going through every room of her apartment.
Yeah, no, you're right.
It's weird. It's weird.
Mm-hmm,
My high is that's tough.
Is it? Okay.
It is. I think it might be Roran's speech, which is funny because my high of this book is the same as my high of Shadow Rising. But
hilarious.
I think it might be. I think it might be Roran's speech. I really enjoyed Roran. I liked Roran's stuff a lot. It broke up Eragon's stuff well, and it is similar to other stuff. But I like Roran as a character. Mm-hmm. I like guys who use hammers, just kind of generally.
Yeah.
I'm a hammer boy myself, so
hammer time. Love that. Yes. Yeah. Oh no. Okay. I love that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Roran's speech. I like Roran's plot throughout this. I think that he gets too good too fast, and I wish that it was, like, explained away. And there's an easy explanation, but it's fine. I think that Roran's interesting, and I like Katrina, and I like that he has to go save her, and it gives Eragon a next step.
Yeah.
Because honestly, one thing these books don't do very well is give Eragon, like, ways to do things. Like, Galbatorix is such a huge problem. Mm-hmm. But there aren't, like, a lot of other things that Eragon can do in the meantime. And so I think that kidnapping Katrina actually does give Eragon, like, a plot to move forward with.
Yeah, get rid of some of Galbatorix's servants
the
that are powerful.
aren't in a place where they can, like, storm Allegasia, you know?
Yeah.
So Eragon's kind of in a weird place toward all of these books. And yeah. I think the Katrina Roran stuff is really strong.
Yeah, it's great.
It gives the, like, launch into the next book.
Absolutely.
Nah.
Yeah. Well, because that's what the next book starts with. Slight spoilers. You've probably already started Brissinger, but that's what we're talking about.
I haven't.
Next week, I started the audiobook last night.
Proud of you.
Hell yeah. Or we could listen to it together if you want. But, yeah. We gotta go. We gotta go to a Halloween party. We gotta go pick up some sweet treats because it's Halloween and I refuse.
Oh, you want candy? Are we leaving right now?
Probably.
Okay, let's go get candy. If you like this video, like and subscribe to the channel. If you don't, hit the dislike button. Leave mean comments down below because the algorithm god is hungry and we must feed her. This episode, that algorithm goddess is...
That's gonna be Maud the Werecat because she deserved more time in this book.
Oh yeah, we really didn't talk about her.
Yeah, she doesn't do anything, so it doesn't matter.
No. If you want to follow us around the internet, you can. I'm at nerdynightly.
I'm at Claris Polaris.
Leave us a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, all those podcasting places. Leave a comment down below on this video. Do the things. And as always, do something nerdy tonight, Clarus. We're going to do something nerdy right now, which is we already kind of smut cornered throughout. We've kind of peppered smut corner throughout our book club lately.
Yeah.
Is there a place where you would add a sex scene that isn't the elf orgy or the second elf orgy?
It's the elf orgies. The elves love their orgies, and, I'm proud of them for just being open and free sexually.
I think the night that Auric shows up to Eragon super drunk, he is there. It's his first time going there. He's been drinking the whole time he's in Elfland, right? But it's his first time because he and an elf had sex that night. And he actually goes to Eragon for help with what to do about that.
He's like, I cheated on Havedra.
And Auric and that elf, they're the first dwarf elf relationship.
They probably would be, yeah.
And good for them.
Good for them.
I don't know what positions they did, but
they made it work.
They made it work.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.